I just did what you told me to.
Ah.
You're also a colossal bitch, and you need to die. Now, this isn't half an hour long, but fuck you anyway.
We'll just talk really slowly. So if Bern casts slow on you,
But
No.
I cast slow for the sole purpose of making it a slow talk. Oh, man. Alright, hello and welcome everyone to Crabby D&D. I am here with my players, Harlan,
Porn stars.
Jamie,
yo,
Simon,
Hello.
Sudz. No. Oh, he's DC'd. Okay. Sam.
Hello.
And Infernal. Infernal, I can see you're unmuted. Okay.
I'm
well,
Infernal?
I'm disappointed in all of you
Hello,
for not
hello.
joining in.
Hello.
Sorry, Pawn
Yes.
Stars.
Okay.
Yep, episode 152, and they're still doing it. Still doing the
Yep.
bit.
Of course we are, Chris. This is the best
Do you
running gag.
remember when we first started doing this?
Yeah, I do. It was like episode 15 or something. Anyway, 4 years ago.
Don't do
God.
that. Don't make me feel old, Chris.
Oh man.
But
Even-
you are old,
It's
Sam.
even better when you load up Guild Wars and you see guild quotes. This jumping puzzle is racist. Infernal 2016. Oh no!
Oh, don't
Oh,
you fucking
wow.
dare! Oh, oh, God, I remember that.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, so I'm here with my players, Crabby D&D. You can see that the overlay has changed. It has been updated along with everything else. So it is all working. You can see everything that I can see. You can even see Bern's glorious mustache in HD there on the side.
Beautiful mustache.
Yeah,
Just as
not this one, because I've changed all of the arts out with your character arts. So
Still.
yes, but yes. So user announcements. Thank you to Sasha for all the artwork put through. You have seen all of it so far, as otherwise done by her. So go and check that out. Thank you to Tabletop Audio for the free music and sound and everything else. I use everything from them. And I use Incarna.com to make all these maps, and we run this on Tabletop Simulator. Sure. With that, even though we're missing a Sudz, I don't know where he went. I'm going to message him, are you alright?
He's still in tabletop.
He's in Tabletop. Right. Well, he'll show up when he shows up. For now, I think it is time we get into today's session. Last session, our party of adventurers. Elsyan, Queglod, Sasha, Malcom, Bern, and Rook. After defeating the Prince of Blood in an intense battle, where he had since ascended to become King of Blood, and was attempting to escape his own wedding, which had been crashed by the party in an attempt to assassinate him. The party gathered themselves, and after taking a rather unfortunate hit of judgment from the Skin Scribe, with the battle slowly getting more and more difficult as things were progressing, you otherwise came through with at just the right time cleaving the head off of the King of Blood. His head and body collapsing to the ground and beginning to slowly turn to ash. Other members of the fighting company were destroyed and killed one by one as the Skin Scribe began to do what he needed to do, to crush and destroy each of them slowly but surely. With the party preparing to leave through the aid of the Plague Lord, the party otherwise left, with the scene of meteor swarms showering down upon the city thanks to the Skin Scribe's doing. The party left and relaxed. Since then, 3 months have passed. The Bloom Festival has been and gone. The party has bought various items with what gold they had, visited family, celebrated birthdays, and otherwise done planning for their various tasks. Queglod has otherwise gone about searching for information, finding new members of the Wingless that were otherwise scattered into the Empire, along with gathering information and forming allegiances between the Sanguine Sun, the Phoenix, and the Wingless that would otherwise reside in Blackhold. With this, in preparation for the future, Queglod has returned to bring about Chronicle to the wedding, who will be leading it today. Sasha, on the other hand, with her tasks ahead of her, she acquired the Phoenix Feather that was necessary after a quick dating sim. After doing so, she otherwise proceeded to begin the forging process of her Shield of Aturan, a great miracle that would otherwise provide her with great benefits and boons, as she otherwise held the pieces upon her anvil, preparing to otherwise smith them. We'll be rolling for those in just a moment, before preparing for the wedding between her and Elsyan. Elsyan has otherwise been to the Elven Kingdoms, doing some scouting on his mother, publicising the various details regarding his wedding, and otherwise getting information where he could, forming allegiances and allies, and doing a little bit of looking in for information where he could. All of this took time, but got a lot of information from what he needed, finding locations and people, and doing what he could, as well as expanding his own power, spending some time working on his own spells. Malcom has since been to the Barrenlands. After spending some time in Oregon looking for an adventuring party and spending some time with his family as well during the Bloom Festival, he left towards Oromance Ravine looking to cure a particular petrification sickness, and upon doing so and otherwise acquiring a little bit of extra knowledge on the side regarding a otherwise severed or destroyed ley line, restoring it to power and defeating a cursed statue, he left, heading towards the Barrenlands, learning a few pieces of information before coming back in time for the wedding, bringing Rook with him. Rook, on the other hand, has spent most of his time in Oregon. He proceeded to pick up a few bits and pieces, buying what he needed, before heading back to his family for their birthday, and otherwise celebrating with his family on the regards to the relief of the curse. Upon returning, Rook spent some time with Gabby, his griffin, training and learning to work synergistically with one another, and also learning to wield the Haftblade more successfully. With the Haftblade now learnt, and Gabby now growing old enough that her training should proceed thereafter, Rook is otherwise here in time for the wedding. Bern, on the other hand, has been a little bit more independent compared to the rest of the party. He's gone to the Sanguine Sun, acquired himself an interesting item, an artifact, and otherwise become one of the new leaders of the Sanguine Sun, a promotion for his great efforts in defeating the King of Blood, and otherwise succeeding on completing one of the major objectives that they otherwise had to complete. With this now done, Bern spent some of his newfound money and expenses going to the Ether and beginning to set up a bank, a place where he has otherwise worked on creating a new spell, a place of storage for various coins and items in a safe and secure location, away from the prying eyes of the mortal world. Doing so has hopeful and otherwise prosperous future ventures into the use of such a spell, but for now it just needed to be set up. Doing a little bit of work there, counter-espionage, and otherwise taking down a few other individuals, Bern returns for the wedding, where currently it resides. Elsyan, preparing the mansion for the wedding, has recast his magnificent mansion into that of a citadel or a cathedral. Beautiful high spire top ceilings made of otherwise carved white stone, various stained glass windows and panes showering light in from the otherwise immaterial outside. Seats and decorations have been set up. A beautiful altar and chairs have been decorated for the various places around here for different individuals. Invites were sent out, and the party otherwise prepares for a few days beforehand with what they need for the oncoming festivities. A few parcels and packages have arrived at the outside of your tavern, and you have been slowly accumulating these small gifts and trinkets for the wedding celebration and thereafter. So, before we continue with your final preparations, Sasha.
Yes.
You otherwise stand in the smithing area of your tavern. The forge before you roaring with flame, the anvil beautifully carved and different from what you remember, as it otherwise seems to have the symbols on the surface of it of what looks to be the twin-hammered gods, Bulgar and Kulgar. You see that Cinna has otherwise been on an adventure with Bern into the ether and completed her divine quest, which she believed she had to complete, and has since upgraded your anvil, it seems.
Don't worry, I've got a better one. I have Bern teleport me over to the fucking Divine Forge of Atura.
Yes. You otherwise
It's
head...
like, what is this heretic nonsense?
Poof. As you otherwise stand there in the deep underground of the forge, Bern standing beside you, otherwise looking onwards, you take out the scale, you take out the dust, and you take out the feather. Placing them all in kind of the area in front of you, you can feel almost this strange energy as you watch as the lava begins to boil and flood into the forge itself. The raised anvil in the centre, the chains hanging, and Forge Storm in your hand. Go ahead and give me a d20 roll. You have advantage because you are a Divine Forge.
Okay. This is gonna go so poorly. No, it's gonna go great. I am Forge Master Sasha, Lord of all I survey. Thank God I got a 14. Okay, that's
Plus?
a 26.
26. With the first few strikes, you begin otherwise working on the large dragon scale that's almost like a small dish plate at first. And
Oh,
as you
forgive me, 27.
27. You begin hammering out the scale as it begins to smooth out across the surface of this, melting and otherwise forming a hardened exterior, almost cold forging it. As each hammer strike begins to slowly melt, dent, and otherwise push and mould the scale into a larger shape. You take the dust and you begin scattering it across the surface of it, forging it in as the heat begins to fuse it to the dragon scale itself. You watch as the magic begins to slowly imbue itself into the surface in almost like this red crystalline structure. As you continue to do so, go ahead and give me a second roll, please.
Oh, fuck all.
As you go ahead and continue to otherwise forge, you feel Forge Storm begin to become heavy and almost too hot, and it begins to distract you as you begin to mould it. It doesn't quite fuse correctly. You feel it's not quite gone as you'd hoped, and as you otherwise look at the work before you, you feel almost a slight disconnection. But at the moment, you feel like you can keep going. Please give me another roll.
I'm going to try and sink deeper into the forge trance I normally use to try and find out what an item wants to become, and try and bring myself more in tune with my forging as I'm doing so.
Okay.
That is 13 plus 9, 22.
22. You begin to focus on what the shield or what the scale wants to be, and you begin to focus on it, but it doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have a single mind. Yet you feel almost a strange want for a shield. Whether it's your own or the scale is hard to tell, but as you do hammer out, you begin to feel the crystals slowly beginning to kind of flow over the top, almost moulding and shaping themselves to the scale itself. You feel that it seems to be going along the correct path, although this may influence it, you're not sure. Go ahead and give me another roll, please.
27 again.
You take the feather, and placing it on the surface, you begin to feel the essence of it begin to drain, almost sinking into the shield itself, as you watch portions of it begin to almost grow with this strange, almost feathered-like texture, before they harden into these beautiful feathered scales around the edge of the shield itself, with these otherwise large kind of hooks on either side of it, very reminiscent of your own shield. As you continue to hammer away at it, otherwise forging into its various shape, it feels not quite finished. You look around and you almost kind of feel almost this strange presence, as if there's something you must do.
I'm going to take Forge Storm, hold it above the shield, and I'm going to try and not quite use Divine Intervention, but channel Atoran's power, muttering the prayers to Atoran as I do so, trying to find guidance or either use this to find what's missing or in some way provide her essence into it to complete it.
So you wanted to try and channel in some way to figure this out. But you said
Yeah.
not using your Divine Intervention?
Well, I can use my Divine Intervention if you want. It's more of a matter of I don't. That's a pretty low chance to work.
No, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine. Just asking for the sake of that.
Yeah, I am going to be attempting to use my connection to a Tauran, such as my channel divinities or my divine intervention, to try and work out what I need here.
Go ahead and give me an additional roll, please. You have advantage on this one as well.
Okay, that is a 30.
As you otherwise stand there looking around, you feel this almost strange connection. Something needs to be done. As you wander over to the forge edge, you place your hands against the edge of it, where it would be completely scalding hot and would burn anyone. You feel a strange, almost light warmth to it. It's not hot to the touch. It's rather cool, given your immunity to fire. You look into the lava and magma pool below, and you see almost this faint sparkling as you dip Forge Storm in. You pull it free and you watch as there's almost this slight crystalline structure around the edge of it, and you head over to the shield and continue to smith against the edge of it. Go ahead and give me another d20, or the final d20 roll here, I should say.
22.
22. You take the edge of Forge Storm, and as you swing down, it cracks against the edge of the shield, and you watch as the crystals begin to splinter off, but to no avail. Nothing seems to happen. As you take a step back, you feel you need to try again. You dip Forge Storm into the magma. You pull it free once again, and you prepare yourself for another try.
I'm just going to say, I swear I will complete this for you, Tauran. 27.
You bring the Forge Storm down as it cracks against the surface. You watch as the crystals splinter once again, and for a moment you feel disheartened, before you watch as the edge of it begins to be coated in this light reddish sheen across the surface of it. And as you otherwise feel it there, you feel almost this strange burden from within lifted, as you complete the scale of a Turan. You pick up the shield, and to you it feels relatively warm to the touch. And Bern, as you're standing nearby, you can feel the heat almost radiating off of it, as Sasha otherwise looks at the edge of it, and you see that there are no straps attached to it. But as Sasha holds it there, you watch as this reddish energy almost bands around her wrists, holding it in place.
Oh.
If you wish to attune to it, you may do so.
Yes. I just need to work out what I can get rid of.
That's fine.
The Ring of Protection is probably the only one I can. I'm going to lose so much AC from this thing. Because I can't afford to take off the Gauntlets of Ogre Strength. So yeah, Ring of Protection is going to be going off here.
Okay. You take the ring off and you attune to the shield as you otherwise hold it there. You watch for a moment, and Bern, you see this as well. As you look over and you watch as Forge Storm grows. You watch as the veins brighten with this almost reddish crystal that begins to grow across the surface of them. As completing the shield has also ascended Forge Storm.
Yay.
I'll send you the description for Forge Storm, and I'll send you the description for the shield in just a moment. As you otherwise look at Forge Storm, you see the exterior of it, where it was previously the kind of this tempered dark steel, is now coloured at slightly more ashen than it used to be, covered with almost these radiant, glowing lava veins that stretch down the handle where it ends in an otherwise angular pummel. Forge Storm drips with what looks to be a thin trickle of magma that harmlessly falls to the floor and vanishes. A beautiful and otherwise now finished warhammer. As the shield is equipped, you feel the effect of it almost fill you, as you otherwise take note of its effects. I'll get you the written description for it in a moment, but I will tell you what it does for now. While attuned to the shield, you may cast the Fire Shield spell once per day using the shield without expending a spell slot, and you have double the chance to succeed on a divine intervention. Once you hit 20th level, and you are guaranteed to get the Divine Intervention, you may do so once every 1d4 days rather than every 7 days.
I'm sorry, I can't think of a serious reaction to that. I'm too hyped.
A Turan is going to be so pissed off with your phone calls.
I know, right?
Sasha,
The boys
Sasha,
are part of
Sasha,
me.
we just spoke. You don't. What you? You'll just call them out just because someone insulted you slightly.
I just helped you
They said my
yesterday.
beard wasn't a real beard.
Oh my
Uses
god.
Divine Intervention to get beard.
Oh,
I mean, you could.
you know what? I know one use of wish I'm gonna be doing.
Oh man.
Give
Wait,
Elsyan
what?
a beard.
I will burn that fucker off. I'll bite that fucker off. Don't make me do it again.
It's wish it'd just be an immortal
You know
beard.
what?
Just can't be
If I get my
damaged.
beard bitten off in D&D, if I got a pound for every time, I'd have £2. But it'd be weird that it happened twice.
That's an old reference. So, with the completion of your scale of a Turan and Forge Storm now ascended, you and Bern both return back to the tavern in preparation for the wedding ahead. The rest of you otherwise watch as Sasha returns, otherwise now standing within the tavern backway, the otherwise stack of presents in one of the corners, and you can see that a few of your companions are busy working on various things. So, is there any prep work you would like to do with regards to the wedding going forward?
Well, obviously we're sorting out catering.
Mhm.
Very important. I
Shishkri
believe
must provide clothing.
Shishri will be providing the clothing. Yes. As I understand it, Malcom is dealing with the cake. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cake and food.
Cake and food. Good.
Excellent.
We will still need people to make sure everything is all set out properly. So,
Don't worry, because it's happening in my mansion. We're going to have
Oh right,
unseen
your
servants.
servant, your Farnsworths. Yes. Your infinite number of Farnsworths.
They all look the same to me. How dare you!
That's Farnsworth. That's Farnsworth. That's Farnsworth. And that's Farnsworth. Don't be ridiculous. The same. Tap the cheek.
You're borderline racist. Ah, they don't all look the same. That one's number 32 over there.
I mean, we're doing it in the Magnificent Mansion, so we can make it look like whatever the fuck we want. So, like, decoration is not an issue.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird marriage of elven and dwarven design to the weird marriage of elven and dwarvish people.
I think what we're going to go for is rather than like the coming down the central aisle, both of us will be coming from one. Everyone is like gathered in one group, rather than in two separate groups. And then we both cut. One of us comes into the left, one of us comes into the right. We meet in the middle. That's where Chronicle will be floating. I don't really know how he's going to be doing this.
Yes. There will be empty chairs for those that are missing. There will of course be a chair for Behold, and Behold will actually be there. I have on good authority.
Right.
I can make that happen.
Excellent.
For obviously in pride of place, just like on the in the front row, there will be at the edge of the front row, so just so it doesn't block anyone's view. A giant throne to a Turan, which I have made.
A chair to the rave, and I have used my mental construction to make a chair to a Turan, and a very cheap chair to the mask, because I know what that fucker's like. He'll nick it.
Right. Yes.
I say very cheap, but it's going to be a decent chair.
To describe the Turan's throne, it will look. It begins to look like a volcano, but you see that it has it's made from metal a burnished bronze exterior with copper and brass and other reddened metals making up the interior of the chair, seeming almost like lava flows as it begins to drape down towards the floor. You see symbols of a Turan and various dwarven runes of worship and praise have been engraved upon it, and honestly, it looks so ostentatious. It might look ostentatious even for an Elsyan wedding. It's that extra.
Is it a case that Elsyan walks in and goes, "Damn you," and I think that's a bit much. Oh.
I'll be honest. I was genuinely considering, what if I just did all of the runes in platinum? Because we've got a lot of platinum. But even I thought that might be a little bit much. But yes, made with Forge Storm, of course, and just put there to hopefully, if it does help a Turan, like get a look-see in, it'd be nice. If not, got a cool chair.
Exactly. Of course, that there will be a very fine-looking chair for my mother. That will secretly be very uncomfortable.
Oh, so you decided not to go with the spring-loaded ass spike then?
No, I decided not to go.
Fucking hell!
I decided not to go for the spring-loaded ass spike. I figured that if we're gonna hurt her, we're not gonna get her with cheap tricks. We're gonna get her by us smacking her a lot with our weapons, and me with brain bullets.
God.
What?
Spring-loaded ass spike.
Just so you've got it now. Harlan. Oh, also, yes, one thing I did forget to mention, the skill of Turan is a +2 shield as well.
Yes! Good, it makes up for all of the minuses I've lost from it.
Yes, if you're unfamiliar with the fire shield spell, it is a 4th level, and it has a cold or a hot setting, so... The cold setting does jack all for
very
you,
helpful.
but the hot setting's quite nice.
Yeah.
Resistance to cold damage, and you deal fire damage back at targets who hit you.
Oh, that is really nice. Whoa. I'm so happy I have this. It's been so long. God, it feels like it's been 4 years rather than like I want to say like 6 months or something. It's been in game.
Oh no. In game, it's been. Remember, in 3 months' time, the Harvesters Festival will have completed.
Oh God, it's been almost a year.
It's been you are at the beginning of the campaign again.
Jesus.
Shit! It starts again. We're suddenly backing out of Manthea. Governor, there's a fire elemental. Shit.
Well, at least
this time we're on 17th level.
Oh. So
I just go on
it's just a really extended Groundhog's Day.
No, we just look at Rook and just like, Rook, this time that axe goes nowhere near the Prince of Blood. No.
What axe? And cold sweat as if no.
I mean, you said that we're level 17. We're level 17. We could break him out now and then just fucking murk him.
But if it did repeat, the following things would change. Your party would murder Hurricane on sight. The war would never happen. You guys. The war would never happen. Golodon would never regenerate. You'd never go down to Oromance Ravine because you wouldn't care less anymore. You would actually.
We would
actually no, because you'd know better than to not pick up the Anchorage crest. You'd then go to Queglod's parents and deal with that now, and you'd go back and kill Ringar while he's on 1 HP.
We would make sure to never go near the Oh no, because we wouldn't have the seeds in us, would we?
No. Well, actually, no. If time was going backwards, then yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we would. So we never go near the Emperor. But what we do is that we each in turn die, get resurrected, so that we can then just carry on with our lives without worrying about those seeds. Then we go kill my mother.
You say that, I've got this bitch Nat's shield. I could probably just be like, hey, Turan, give me, get rid of these fucking seeds.
I've got
That
wish.
feels like a dog,
You've got ways, just get
I've
rid of
got
them.
wish. I
You
can
got
solve our problems if I'm lucky enough.
2 wishes. I can only wish 2.
Oh.
Oh god.
Perfect.
Hold would be alive.
He'd be level 5 still, though. Or
Don't
level
care.
7.
But
It's
Hold would be
okay,
alive.
We could go and grind his level for him. With it.
Go and fight
it's
Webval
not
and take the
that
hold with you to
hard.
grind levels.
Exactly.
You know what? I would have all the information from the shards so that we would know where the shards are, or who's got them. We wouldn't be able to find them as easily, but we'd also be able to get the artifacts and then not break them open for the shards. We can then have the Acrian orb.
Yeah.
We could actually kill.
Use Gate to summon Jacker as well, so you don't need to worry about him coming to you.
Hey,
Yeah,
Jacker, who are
we
you?
could stop.
Oh, yeah.
We could stop Kisrin from going away and then coming back again. Like we could just stop it there.
You just work your way down the list of villains using Gate and each day taking them out one by one. And
We just knock on Webval's lair. It's like, hi.
But we don't need to. We can just summon him to our tavern.
I actually no, I think Webval's one person.
make-
We deal with away from Adamantia, you know.
Yeah.
Just make like a huge
And-
list of all the
What if I
villains.
just fucking
Alright,
gated
Druid.
Webval in? No, fuck! I go to the plane of fire. I fucking activate Gate to yeet the goddamn
Does
bastard
Gate
into the
work
plane of
between
fire.
planes?
And
it has to
yeah.
work between planes. It can't work on the same plane.
Yeah.
There's also
Oh,
I have
one more
played
thing.
it as well.
There's also one more thing, guys.
Mhm.
We could actually get all the money from Webval's lair this time.
Yes.
Oh no!
Oh my god.
Man.
Most of it won't be gone this time.
Now, wouldn't that be a campaign idea? That once that they have 1 year to complete the campaign, if they fail, it resets, but they retain all of their levels and memories of the previous campaign.
That's a
Harkin
new
turns
game
up.
plus.
I love the thought of Harkin turns up. None of us use spells or weapons to kill him. We just push him to the floor and kick him to death.
What are you doing? This is the new high governor. Give us a bit.
Little bitch.
Whack.
What's
No,
your name? I
this
don't know. What's your name? Tell us the truth, you little imp. You little shit.
Malcolm just looks at him and is just like, you know what? No, I'm not dealing with this again. Cast 9th level dispel magic on him.
Nope.
Alright.
Oh man. Anyway.
Force the glibness spell.
Yep.
Oh no, that's the wrong way around.
Yeah. Either way.
What if we just continuously cast Dispel Magic, just going, Dispel Glibness, Dispel Glibness, Dispel Glibness, Dispel Glibness.
I think
Eventually it's got to
I
work.
think Chris is trying to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
got a wedding to do. So.
I'm
I will.
so excited.
So with Elsyan and Sasha, pretty much ready for their wedding with everything there. Malcolm, you were mentioned doing the catering. So, what kind of food are you preparing? And you are welcome to describe the cake.
Well, for food, I'm throwing in all different kinds of dwarven food.
Mm-hmm.
But for elven food, it's specifically elven flatbread.
Oh, you're a beautiful bastard. I love it.
That's the food.
Mm.
There might be some other elven things in there. Anything.
The
that
rebel
might...
food is shit. It always comes in two smaller portions. Don't worry.
Look, it's all elven street food. Don't worry.
Oh, the street food's fine.
Yeah, it's all elven street food because Malcolm can just make whatever he wants.
Okay,
Sorry, I misunderstood.
that's fine.
It was the regular posh food. That's the one thing that peasants do better than the nobles.
So,
The one thing.
go ahead and make me a cook's utensils with advantage because you are using the dedicated workstation of your tavern. Also with your additional +2 because of the book.
Well, not the best rolls, but that's still a. I believe it's an 18. Yeah, it's an 18.
80, yeah, you're perfectly fine. Going through and otherwise preparing the elven street food, it's not difficult to make, surprisingly. And given it's elven street food, it is fairly simple. It's kind of probably not very healthy for you. But that's beside the point. As you otherwise make the elven street food, you prepare it for the wedding, it's all laid out, and working through the dwarven food, go ahead and give me another roll for that. As you begin to prepare that, taking the various kind of foods and spices, the meats and everything else.
Okay.
Natural 20. You acquire all kinds of meat and various bits and pieces that you might need for a traditional dwarven meal for the reception afterwards. And the preparation for it is otherwise assisted by Angus and your otherwise assistant chef. As you spend time working on the meal, prepping it for the entire day, you can tell from as you kind of go about the day, you hear words of compliment about the smells from the kitchen, namely from the dwarven building team that are going to be attending the wedding reception afterwards with their general gift. You finish it and you're fairly satisfied with your overall work and feel that it is to a good standard. As you otherwise prepare that, go ahead and give me a roll for the cake, please. Now, the cake is more meticulous, so the DC will be naturally higher.
Better be a good fucking cake. It's a good fucking cake.
That's a 32.
Yeah.
Preparing the cake.
I love when you resolve roll with, yeah.
Yeah. You prepare the cake. Doing so with... Do you wish to do it by yourself or with assistance from Angus?
I think for this, Malcom would feel a little bit better doing it himself since he's been with the party for a while.
Okay. Would you like to describe the cake?
I'd like to describe the cake after, like, when it gets brought out, presented, and cut open.
Very well.
This is gonna be great.
Okay. With that, you prepare the food over the remaining days that you have prepared, kind of gathering the supplies, buying up a lot of the natural market around here. I'll say, given you're making food for quite a lot of people, I'll take 200 gold out of the tavern fund for all of the food that you'll be making, the varieties, the quality, the everything. So I will take that out of the tavern fund for paying for the food, given the wedding is tavern based.
Oh, do I need to make one more roll for the pies?
Yes, go ahead. Actually,
I
you already rolled for those, didn't you? Previously, when we were going through your time skip.
Oh, for carrying that one over, then
Yeah,
it was
that
like
was
30
31.
something.
Yeah. So you go ahead and you make those pies in preparation for the wedding, knowing full well what's been on its way. So, Rook, Queglod, or Bern, would any of you like to take the stage if you wish to do something for the wedding?
I ask if they want anything, but I don't understand Empire weddings. Ugh. Yet alone Dwarven and Elven. I've been to like a couple.
Get us something you think would be... Just... Get us something you think would be good.
Okay, I'm gonna get spade and start digging the pit.
That's, you know what, oddly sweet. And also, you're a bastard.
There's a pit in the back garden.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent. We're going to bury my make sure it's 6 feet down. What we're going to do is we're going to bury my mother head first. That's right. If she does resurrect, she'll start digging down and digging further.
Why didn't
Treat it like an old-timey witch, put iron bars over it. Surrounded in salt and iron filings.
Now here's a question. If you want someone to not resurrect, what happens if you pour molten metal down their mouth? Because, like, if they wake up, that's not technically a wound, because it's just filling empty space.
I dictate that it would be, because it's the same as... That would be like going... Oh, yes.
What if you kill them, then you like pump metal into all of their veins and shit?
If it prevents function, it would. Then I would say that it would be considering a problem. Because if I tried to pull that with you...
We would call bullshit.
You would call bullshit, yeah. It's like, oh, Elsyan was disintegrated, but someone poured molten salt over him, so now he can't be regenerated. Because if he comes back, he'll have salt inside of his blood and he'll die instantly.
Okay, you know that's not quite what I mean, but alright.
No, I know.
Still. Well.
Okay. Queglod on
Remind me
that?
how large the dimension door is.
I believe for the mansion it's a 10-foot wide, 10-foot high.
Okay.
Bern or Queglod?
Yeah, I mean, is there anything you want? You want doing at the wedding, or?
I mean, we do need to officially declare best man and maid of honor, right?
I mean, I was just going to go with like best people in general, and Smith of Honor, who will be Osdric, of course. You've met Osdric, right? He's my surrogate father figure, the mentor who brought me into
I'm
life.
meeting the father. Oh God! At the wedding, shit.
You've got to make a good impression. Anyway.
Oh please, Elsyan doesn't make good impressions.
So he's going to like walk me along or be there with us at the wedding. I'm not really sure exactly how I want to do this. I mean, you fuckers better be showing up like at the front bit, because otherwise, look, there's a strong chance we're gonna die horribly otherwise.
Wear
I'll
your
sit on
best
the altar.
clothes, but also wear armor.
Thinking about it. Rook's clothes. Does he have clothes that's gonna fit over his armor?
Right? Shush, Greg.
You'd
Shush, Greg.
have to have them tailor-made. Also, given
Luckily,
that you were
you're
planning
SLS.
this, you give him 3 months to prepare for this.
To
So,
make some versions of our armor, but looking respectable for society.
with having kind of respectable dress code and everything to go over the top of the armor, with the exception of Bern and Elsyan, and Elsyan will need a special thing for being the groom. But with,
Elsyan is getting the fanciest fucking robe he can get.
with
I mean,
Bern
I've got
and
the robe of
Malcolm being
disguise,
the exceptions, unless
probably. I've got the robe of disguise. Is my that should be able to
okay. So
change whatever it needs to.
Bern and Malcolm, seeing as you two go unarmored most of the time, if you wish to have a particular dress code to otherwise exchange, you can. Otherwise, your regular clothes that you usually wear will suffice.
Well, I have like the what are they called?
Tuxedo.
The strap things.
Suspenders?
Yeah. I'll wear a full suit.
With
Okay.
full suit. Oh.
It's made just of suspenders.
No. Whereas I'm wearing that all the time. This time I'll wear a full suit.
Okay, I see.
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna turn up to our wedding and just suspenders, we're not letting you in. I don't care if we need you for the fight. We're not letting you in. You'll be escorted out by Farnsworths.
I believe you have full control to ban people from your magnificent
I
mansion.
believe I
so-
do.
Oh my god.
Oh my word. Okay. So with that, Malcolm, do you wish to buy yourself a new suit?
Malcolm will have a very fancy, Barrenland style suit.
Okay.
Barrenlands have suits.
Okay. So those of you who are
So a
spending,
loincloth.
so that
Yup, that's exactly what it is.
Loincloth and a fancy shovel to dig your shithole.
so
Exactly.
so those of you who are buying suits, or any form of dress code, I will say 200 gold from all of those who are buying, dress code wear. Rook, that will go up to 400 for you, seeing as it's trying to go over your armor.
Hey, can I just put out there? Rook is fucking broke.
I will
Bern is also very broke.
I will pay for Rook.
Rook's got 5 platinum.
Sasha is
Jesse.
not caring. Elsyan, I finally get what you mean about talking about the poor people.
It's wonderful, isn't
Sasha
it?
and
I know.
Elsyan, given you two
Yes.
are also getting particular dress wear for this, I will
We
say
can't-
Again, it's
For you
my
two-
one's mostly going to be like a mantle over my armor because
yeah. So
I
I'll
need
say
the AC.
I'll say it'll be 500 each, given you're getting quote unquote you're the special people in this.
I mean,
Huh?
there's no way I can sort of talk to Shishkin and just say, hey, this could count as the gift.
I mean,
Bad
he
idea.
wasn't
I
invited. Was he
think
invited to the
he
wedding?
just
He was invited to the wedding.
Oh yeah, and is he showing up? Where is he? Is he showing
He
up?
should
Okay.
be.
Oh no, he was.
I fucking hope so.
Yes, he did say yes.
Yes, he
Yes.
did say yes. So
What if Elsyan
in
has
which
a
case
dress
he will
emergency?
in which case he will consider this his gift. He won't have to pay anything that way.
Yes, free fancy clothes, the best kind.
Oh shit. Oh nice.
You know what? I'll pay for Bern's as well.
Okay. So
I'm
Bern,
giving
you have been
myself
paid
back
for.
my money.
I didn't
Yeah.
even take the money off. See, this is what it's like to be rich, Sasha. We don't actually pay for things.
So
We just flash our money and make people think we do.
with that,
So
and
about the
your...
bill for all this food that I'm making, y'all.
Thanks, Malcom. Love you, buddy.
Malcolm, you are a truly wonderful friend, and we can never repay you back for it. Sorry, we will never repay you back for it. Think of all the times we've saved your life, or brought you back from the dead after you've died.
Well, that won't be happening anymore.
Accurate.
Why'd you say that?
Yeah, we may or may not have realised there was a combo he hasn't been utilising, which makes him a lot stronger. Anyway, so with that set, for those of you who wish to describe your dress wear in a moment, you might as well start thinking about it now. As you otherwise begin to prepare for this, with not much extra work needing to be done, the days begin to arrive, and the gifts have piled up, some larger than others, as you otherwise have your guest list begin arriving. With Regan being nearby, otherwise now released from the difficulties of his wounds that he has suffered, Regan and Rahal otherwise say their greetings, coming up and congratulating you on the wedding, and otherwise proceed to kind of pay attendance, wearing themselves kind of well-made dress wear. Not necessarily Shishkri approved, but still very well made and kind of handcrafted, tailored. Out of the entire people that you have invited, and those of them that did say yes, some people do begin to arrive, and they kind of arrive a bit more subtly. Abod is in his more humanoid form as best he is, trying to kind of blend in with a beautiful, otherwise gold and white robe that otherwise washes over the front, kind of a set of buttons that line the sides, otherwise curves down from the edge of his collarbone all the way down to the left side of his waist. It's a rather decorative and very well made set of mage robe armors or mage robe dress wear, and you otherwise look at it and it's decorative, colourful, and interesting. Gree has since cast Disguise Self on him, and otherwise kept himself to a distance from everyone else, trying to avoid physical contact. But you note that he does hang out with Abod somewhat, and otherwise does kind of keep himself separate from the rest, but notably near to Rahal and Regan, who do know him relatively well. The most strangest of your guests does arrive, however, as you see Maverick wander in. The Ambiro, which helped serve you a long time ago, has otherwise arrived in his otherwise massive form. People are very concerned as he otherwise wanders through town, and it does raise a little bit of questions, but he does arrive with a small cohort of goblins behind him. As he does otherwise arrive, each of them are otherwise connected by a set of reins, like you would with children, and that's otherwise tied to his hip as he otherwise wanders up, each of them carrying their own small little box.
Oh, this is adorable.
Good to see that you're all doing well. Good to see that you're all finding the gifts I've made along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Looking around at your now massive arsenal of Dawn martial artifacts now.
Swishes Lavish Frusciando happily.
Yes. Oh, look at this. I show him Forge Storm. Look at how good it got. Oh, I'm so happy.
It's gone well, and I see you've completed your quest you mentioned as well.
Absolutely. Yes, well, without this armor that your forge helped me make, and your assistance was key in, I don't think I'd still be here today, honestly.
Good to hear.
Anyway, I'm so glad you made it. Please have a seat anywhere. We have, or Are we in the mansion right now, or are we in the tavern currently?
I'll say that you've got the mansion set up in such a way that it has become the main entrance, like one of the new entrances to the side of the tavern. But it is being guarded by your allies, and there is kind of like a small reception in the outside courtyard in front of the tavern itself.
Right. Oh, lovely! I've got the seats from the for the giants, and I can make more with more fabricates and shit if I need to.
Well, Elsyan's thing will be able to accommodate for the large.
Oh, great! Everyone, take a. Well, you and your. I really don't know how to refer to them. Gob friends.
Works for me.
Right, you and your gob friends take a seat wherever you like. Yes. I'd love to take some time to catch up. I don't think we're not terribly busy. There's just a wedding going on.
Take your time.
Crap.
I'll be in town for a few days. Get to look around to see the city. It's been a long time since I've come down from the mountains.
Fair enough.
Did the Maverick ever meet Hurricane?
No.
Is this before the wedding?
Okay.
Is
Just
this
before
the wedding?
This is on the day of the wedding.
Ah.
But yes, it hasn't happened yet. So
No, it hasn't happened yet, and Sasha and Elsyan haven't otherwise got themselves dressed in their formal wear yet. They're just wearing
Elsyan has gone off to get his robes on. There are many layers.
Okay. Whereas Sasha's is just a pullover, so...
In fact...
Literally, it's going to be like one of those, like, you know, like the vestment sort of like mantles
Tabard.
that you put on. Tabard, yes, like a tabard with like a cape.
Yeah.
That's what's happening there.
Okay.
Mostly because it means that I can just wear my armor and not have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, so lazy for our wedding, Sasha.
Look, I have adamantine coated red dragon plate armor. This is slick Oromite coated armor.
You know what? It wouldn't be the same if you didn't go clank, 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 clank.
Down the aisle.
Clank, 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 clank.
Oh my god.
Stepping to the beat. Oh, man. So, next to arrive, you otherwise note as Malcom otherwise steps through from the back area of your tavern, back through from the tree. You watch as Malcom and his cohort of extended family otherwise arrive.
Yes. Oh no.
As you meet each of the, or as you see each of the tiefling individuals kind of very much visiting this place for the first time, they're all wearing what look to be the nicest clothes they could get, the fanciest clothes that they have. You know that they're not rich by any means. They're very kind of simple folk. But they seem to have kind of put on as best act as they can. All of them are here, and you kind of note that they all have arrived with each of the members otherwise showing up. You see that Nala is otherwise in a wheelchair, kind of being pushed forward by her father, as they otherwise do kind of come around from the side of the tavern, and they do see and greet, with Elsyan not being there, but with Sasha they kind of greet you.
The mansion is set up to properly accommodate for.
Yes.
Right. Oh, it's lovely to see you all.
It's got wheelchairs.
How are the legs doing? I'm talking to the dad who had the other broken legs. It was his legs, right? Not his arms?
That was
Rook's dad. Yeah.
That was Rook's.
Oh, fuck,
that was
the
Rook's
wrong
dad.
one.
Wrong family.
Oh, my apologies. Right. Okay, then I don't say anything about legs.
No, that's fine.
Because I got the wrong dad.
No, yeah, that's fine.
They both happened very close to each other.
No, that's
okay?
fair.
Yeah, fair.
No, but as they otherwise have arrived, they kind of do get a look around. They are kind of intrigued, kind of taking in the sights as they look in the door and they see like this entire cathedral from the inside. As to them, this is extraordinary magic. As they do kind of look in and kind of begin to enter and kind of look around. As you otherwise stand there, kind of waiting for the rest of your guests. Next to arrive, you kind of hear this almost flashing pop. As you watch as a very well dressed, kind of a long kind of mage robe as well, individual wearing what looks to be a slightly more ornate mask. You see Ozbone, otherwise there, as he kind of pulls the robe to, You see he wears, where he was usually bandage bound, given his kind of slightly immaterial form, you see he's wearing bright white gloves and long sleeves with kind of, what are they at the end of your sleeves that you use? The buttons, like cufflinks. Cufflinks, as he has almost these kind of beautiful ivory cufflinks as he does wander up, kind of gives a bow, and you see that he does have a hanging chalkboard from the side of his hip, just so he can communicate. But he otherwise wanders in with the rest. Your staff do begin to take their positions as well within the mansion themselves, some of them security, some not.
We have, what I'm going to say is we have let people know, for the most part, let people know that there may be minor issues.
Yeah.
Minor, just small issues like a possible psychic scream. But hey, that's what counter spells for, right?
Sure. So, with all of this, you also see the next people to arrive are is Nagriel, and you see Blacksmith Osdric. Otherwise, wander up with Nagriel. They've kind of been enjoying kind of a gentle conversation. As they do arrive, kind of Nagriel gives a bow and a nod as Osdric goes up for a hug towards you, Sasha.
I'm going full in for the hug.
Yeah. He goes in for the hug and he goes, good to see you're finally getting a good part of your life back. It's good to see. Thankfully I met this fine fella. I was lost. Couldn't quite find the way to the tavern, and although it was fairly popular, directions in the city is a bit crap. But he was going the right way, so followed him.
Oh, I've gotten lost so many times here. But it's lovely to see you again. It's been far too long. I've got a few things to show you. Have a look at the shield. These two. I'm holding up the shield in Fort Storm. I'm so happy.
Very well made. Got made a little bit jealous. It has been 2 years now, almost.
God.
Almost 3 now, but I've heard back from you a few times, obviously, but yeah, you've certainly come a long way. Kind of gives you a pat on the shoulder. I'll be heading in.
I made an honorary chair for Turan as well. Let me know what you think.
I'm sure I'll spot it. He otherwise nods and heads in.
Grab a drink.
Were you going to be having him give you away to Elsyan?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure whether it's going to be like a classic give you away because I don't really think it's a classic ceremony. More like he'll be up there with me.
He'll be up there with you. Okay, fair enough. Out of the next ones, you note what looks to be two individuals kind of separately that you haven't seen before. One you seems to otherwise be a relatively dark-skinned female form, kind of wandering forward with kind of slicked back black hair with almost a kind of a scrunchie in place holding it. As she wanders forward in a very nice elegant black and white dress with almost these frilled edges to the cuffs. As she wanders forward, stops before you, and otherwise does a slight bow.
Bow back.
As she looks up, she otherwise hands her invitation over.
I read it.
This is Belle, the Annis hag.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was generally going like, is this Elsyan's mother?
No, this is Belle.
Okay.
As she otherwise...
I wouldn't know, like, Elsyan will know when his mother
I
turns
don't
up.
know who Belle is.
She's the Annis hag who sold you the potions in Oromance Ravine.
Oh, no, I do
The one
know
we
that.
collected bones for.
The one that I electrocuted the hamster of. Or mouse.
Mouse.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
She made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Fair enough,
Honestly,
I guess.
that's everyone. Everyone's just kind of like, you know what? Fair enough. Yeah.
They're like, we'll invite a bunch of powerful people. Invites Belle. She must be powerful. She made it out of Oromance Ravine alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she used the
No,
short
she survived in Oromance Ravine.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's the. She's already more powerful than most of us.
True.
She otherwise nods and kind of looks around, going,
It's a pleasure to see you again, Belle.
yes.
Is there anything I can get
and
you?
Drinks? Maybe a very careful choice of words, but I'm here to enjoy the celebration.
They remember.
Strange that I was invited, but I won't say no.
Fair enough. Well,
Oh
it's a
god,
pleasure
we just
to have you
invited a
here.
fae to our wedding. Our firstborn is theirs.
Well, I mean, Kevlar's on his own adventure, so.
He He's not our firstborn. We love him very much, but he is adopted, and he's older than you are technically.
As she otherwise heads in, the next to follow you see is a rather interesting individual wearing the same kind of beautiful, otherwise golden Barrenlandic style armor to him, with what looks to be a slight white cape to the back and shoulders of it. These kind of beautiful pauldrons of almost what looks to be carved wood but painted gold, and the rest of the breastplate is beautiful in its design. As he wanders up first to Malcom, he does take a nod before heading up to you, Sasha. Kind of takes your hand and bows. It's a pleasure to finally meet you in person.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Do I recognize him at all?
No, you don't. But Malcom, you do. This is Kathox.
Yep, I knew it. Hi, Kathox.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you as well in person.
Yes, pleasure to meet you in person. I've been to your tavern several times, and I got to say this is a new door, but I'm pretty sure I know how that was done. Good use of it, though.
We thought it'd be nice to be able to move directly from the venue right to the after party.
Makes sense, and can easily be closed afterwards, should there be any mess.
Elsyan turns up. I heard compliments.
Ah, the caster. Pleasure.
Yes.
You must be Elsyan?
Yes, I am. And you're Kathox.
Correct.
He has just been waiting outside until he knew who the guy's name was. I guarantee it.
Elsyan's been waiting for someone to compliment the spell this entire time.
Well, I certainly look forward to this wedding. It's certainly going to be an interesting thing. I've seen many in my time, but a dwarf and elf is historical, to a certain degree. Especially ones of your talent.
This should prove eventful.
I hope so. He smiles back, almost with a elegance of knowing.
The plan is known. The ones that we like invited to a little bit expecting to fight, I would assume we were just like, hey, we may need your help. Probably not, but we may.
Yeah.
And acknowledge that probably keeping the people here who aren't fighters protected is the best bet.
Okay. The next one that you note, otherwise slinking in as best he can, is Shishkri. As he otherwise kind of tries to avoid the two of you kind of heading in.
I noticed this. I just give him a nod, and I understand.
He looks back. He kind of nods and heads in. You know that he's not too welcome on the surface, so he's trying to keep himself kind of out of the limelight, but maybe on the inside. The next to arrive, you very much notice, as you otherwise hear again, a similar pop as you watch as three individuals appear. One looking to be an otherwise sylvan elf form with kind of mossy grown hair in these kind of long, kind of twisted strands. The otherwise beautiful white and green vestments of Silensir about him, with the blooming tree on the surface of his mantle. You see the two elven paladin guards on either side of him, as he does a similar bow, as you see Markoth Moss and his two accompanying plague spirits to assist him.
Markov! I bring him in. I bring him in for a hug, not giving him a chance to pull away.
He
surprise him.
Go ahead and make me a athletics check.
Oh God!
That's a decent
You're
roll
doing
for
a
him.
grapple contest at our wedding.
Right, so that's a +4.
Well, where would you do the grapple contest, Sam?
14. I don't think that's going to cut it.
14. I'm just double checking what his athletics is here. Oh, well, or acrobatics. Either way, he's very proficient in those. Okay.
Oh no, he's gonna do that thing where you go in for the hug and he turns it into a handshake, isn't he?
With a 29, yes, he does. As you
Oh.
otherwise go in for kind of a hug around the edge of the waist, he otherwise grabs your hand and kind of goes into a shake, pulling it to one side with a slight sidestep.
Got it. We're not there yet. I'll get you one day.
One day, maybe. But I look forward to it. I heard that you're choosing someone else as your priest.
Yes, he's dead, so we kind of thought, might as well give him the wedding.
Inclusive. I get plenty of other chances with the rest of your group. Kind of looks around at each of them. Kind
married,
of goes,
mate.
well,
I
he just gives you a
Malcolm's
nod.
probably gonna marry someone someday.
He looks at Malcom, looks at Bern, looks at Queglod. Kind of.
Rook's already taken. His wife is terrifying. I can't wait for you to meet her.
Oh, Sasha,
What?
sorry.
What?
Sasha, I didn't say.
What?
That with the plan. They're not coming for safety's sake. Slightest thing goes wrong. We don't want a dead child at a wedding.
Fair enough. Okay,
Mate,
well,
it is worrying that Malcolm's family turned up, to be honest.
okay,
I'm a little scared.
We'll do a get together at some point where you two can meet, because I think you'll just really get along. Honestly, I think she'll remind you of a more competent version of all of the terrifying women that your brother was involved with.
Generally
And
a
less
pleasant person.
terrifying. Generally nice person. Absolutely terrifying. She scares me so much.
I'm sure she'll probably hold more of an aura than my brother. We'll have to see in comparison to the Blind Butcher. But regardless. On which front, by the way, you won't have to worry about him any longer.
Excellent.
Oh, thank God. I honestly was waiting for him to just pop up one day.
No, he has been returned back to where he belongs.
Excellent.
I
Well,
believe he is since seeking judgment for his actions, thanks to the Skin Scribe's doing. But I digress. This is your wedding, not a place of chatter.
we could talk after the ceremony.
Yes, I'm sure a few drinks will loosen it up, but I fear that my
A few.
immunities might intercede. As he is immune to poison, he does wander in.
Oh,
Right,
There has to be some way to get that man
Sasha.
drunk. Hmm?
Okay, you know how lava hurts you? Is that like a version for alcohol? Wait! Queglod has it!
Queglod has it, yeah. The dead man's brew.
Yeah.
Just remember that it does affect magic, so be careful with that.
I was
Oh my
actually
God.
considering handing it back over as the wedding present, but I haven't done it now.
No! that I bought you can't give me something I bought myself for my own wedding present.
She's pregnant.
Why
She
not?
can and she will. And also, if you give it to me, I can probably work out how to brew some.
I will give it to you, but not for the present. I've got something else.
Oh.
Oh,
With that,
should be nice.
the last person arrives.
Okay, here it goes.
As you're otherwise waiting there, Elsyan, you feel it before you hear or see. You feel
Smiles.
a slightly dense presence begin to slowly seep towards
Yeah, she's
your
thick.
location.
That's why she's dense. No, Elsyan
Description
notes
has
this,
changed from elegant elven woman to how many C's, Sam?
No, not like that. And 3.
fucking hell.
And 3. Got it.
Big titty elf GF.
Oh, man. So, as you kind of feel the presence first, as she does make her way towards you, you see a cohort of 4 guards accompanying her, each wearing kind of elegant elven mail, kind of with a slight cape behind them, and you see they are equipped with weapons, where many of the individuals who have arrived at the wedding don't seem to be accompanying themselves with various weapons other than those concealed amongst clothing or their natural talent for magic. These carry their weapons openly, as you see 4 of the otherwise elite elven rangers travelling with her. As she makes her way towards, she stops, kind of looking at the 2 of you. It has been a long time, hasn't it, Elsyan?
Not quite as long as I would have liked.
She,
But
she goes in for an embrace. Do you wish to resist?
That's where he dies.
Elsyan will not be resisting. He will be accepting of this embrace.
Okay. No need.
Deep down, he doesn't actually want to have to kill her.
Okay.
Just maim or seriously injure. Maybe put her into a coma for a long time. Regan style. I don't know.
So, as she does, she goes in for a hug, kind of leans in, and you feel there is almost a moment there. It's strange, but there is this weird kind of layer of affection kind of family love of "it's been too long," and she does let go, kind of step back, goes over to you, Sasha, and kind of stops. Do take care of him now.
Oh, I plan to.
She smiles, otherwise looking down before looking back up.
Yep.
A mansion. Yours, I take it?
Quite.
You've come a long way.
Come further than you think. But let's not fall into this. I didn't just invite you here for any problems.
I understand.
But we do have plenty to discuss at least. And I must say, I do not appreciate you bearing weapons so openly at my wedding.
Also, we do not have seats for these people. I want to make that clear.
No, Sasha.
Do not worry. They will not be seated. They will simply be standing sentinel.
Why, do you fear for something?
Let's just say the road here isn't exactly the safest.
I can imagine.
As she does.
And also, I am my mother's son.
She doesn't mention that, as she does wander into the mansion. The 4 guards, 2 of them post themselves outside, and the other 2 go in with her.
It wasn't so bad.
So,
We didn't break into fighting right there. Don't want to do the ceremony in blood now, do we, Sasha?
Well, I mean, it would be quite fitting given our usual exploits, but I feel it would be a little bit...
Even for us, might be a bit much. Now, we should finish getting ready. I should probably drop this disguise and actually show what my robes look like.
Okay.
Because I'm using, like, disguise self to cover me. So it's... don't want to see them in the dress before the wedding. Because let's face it, I'm the one in the dress.
Can I ask what color is Elsyan's mother's hair?
This is... You're getting... I have to go get a description. I believe it's black.
It's a mark of my family. Is the long black hair?
Yeah, long black hair.
I just gotta find big evil anime big titty lady.
Okay, can I suggest looking
hair.
at dark elves or dark eldar?
Got it, big titty dark eldar.
That might be a dangerous thing to look up.
Harlan,
I'm doing it.
Yikes.
I'm doing it, guys. It could be much worse.
Ahem. So.
Okay. I am gonna post this in the Dawn Seekers chat because it's funny. It's not as bad as it could be.
Hope not.
Well, you know, sod it. We've been through worse.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's fairly innocent. I think it's because I put titty instead of with D's instead of T's.
Probably.
It's more memes than anything.
So, with the wedding proceeding, Queglod, you otherwise have Chronicle inside the mansion. As each of you begin to slowly head in, kind of filtering in and taking your seats, the interior is well lit. Hanging lanterns of a prismatic design with the stained glass shining through and across the otherwise very welcome marble stone surface here. The altar is well designed and kept, with what looks to be a book on the surface, and an otherwise undead floating chronicle behind it, just leafing through the pages, kind of conferring himself with the service. You see what looks to be a goblet and a bowl on either side of him as he does plan to do a dwarven wedding for this.
Oh, that's nice. That'll make your mother fucking livid.
As he otherwise has the book in front of him, does kind of rehearse it, kind of going through. Rook, where you go over and sit, you otherwise sit down and you kind of see the pedestal next to you. You take out Sovek's skull and place it on top of the pedestal that's been put in place for him.
Praise be.
Just put it so it's facing my mother.
Stares intensely.
As you otherwise head in, Malcom, you kind of light up a little bit of incense, specifically thyme, and as you do, Guardian Miadal kind of presents and otherwise floats nearby in what looks to be that of almost this radiant chair to one side as she sits down. You each take your place, some of you with your family, some very excited about this, others seemingly just enjoying the show. Is there anything anyone would like to do before we proceed with the wedding itself?
There was one thing I wanted to do before I went in.
Okay.
I wanted to see if I could get one of the elven guards to shake my hand. If they do, I want to try and gauge how strong they are compared to things we fought previously.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Okay.
I mean, Elsyan is also sizing them up from a distance, but
Malcolm's going straight in there.
yeah, but like Elsyan, I like the thought Elsyan's sort of just thinking, looking at them, trying to be a bit stealthy. Then I just see Malcom just stride across the hall towards one of them.
Shakes hand.
Because as I walk on by, it's gonna be like, yeah, you're still smaller than me. That's fine.
Could I have an insight check from Elsyan and Malcom, respectively, please?
Oh. Like, we want to make sure that the guards themselves do not feel comfortable being here.
In fact, my sword is bigger than them, is it
Both
not?
rolled
Most of you rolled 17.
Yes, your sword is bigger than them.
Ah, good.
Insight, that's a 28, Chris.
And Malcom?
Mine's 21.
Okay. There's the two of you, otherwise kind of look at them, kind of trying to gauge how strong they are. Malcom being close, as you otherwise do shake hands with them. You tell they're more built for their dexterity rather than raw strength, but they are well-trained rangers. They would be on par to potentially troops from the Barren Lands if they were in a forest. In this instance, they don't seem to have anywhere to hide, but they do still have the ability to fight back with relative strength. Elsyan, with your experience, you do pick up that these are house guard specifically. These are ones that are relative to each individual house, and in her relevance, these are ones specifically built by, specifically trained by the Bloodbriar Court. This does mean that they will be skilled in blood magic. You know that they will have a level of magic about them, which will make them a lot stronger, and they can enchant their weapons in an instant, should they need to. They are trained with instantaneous magic.
They are dangerous and not to be taken lightly.
Exactly.
But
as you kind of look them up and down, they aren't wearing magical gear. You know why? Because in an instant, all of that can become magical.
They'll get it instantly.
Yeah. So, with that, you otherwise prepare for the wedding. The music is beginning to be played through the various otherwise symphonies of Farnsworths over to one side, playing harps and light stringed instruments. One of them has a triangle and seems very enthusiastic for his role. You see
enthusiastic Farnsworth. What the fuck is that?
You gave him a day off and now he has personality.
That's not allowed! Someone arrest him!
You see along the central aisle leading up towards the altar are braziers, very similar and slightly mockingly in the same manner designed as the King of Blood's ceremony. But you otherwise proceed up the aisle, the two of you, in your... Well... You were heading down together, weren't you?
Yes, we were heading into the sides. We're not going down the aisle in the centre.
Ah, okay.
So one from one side, one from the other.
Okay.
And
then
then
we
we meet in the middle.
Where
Where our friends are gathered.
Okay. Meeting in the middle.
Are you having anyone specific for your?
I'm having anyone specific for my what side?
Because I've got Osric over there. Are you having anyone specific coming in and setting up with you other than the rest of the party?
I don't think I have anyone specific. I feel like I should have my mother. In fact.
Hey, Mom, get up here.
I know this is a bit of backtracking, but I would like to ask her if she would like to join me at the stuff. Because as much as Elsyan talks a lot of shit about murdering the bitch, he doesn't want to kill his own mother. She is utterly evil and does need to die.
She does seem, as you do ask her outside, she does seem willing to give you away, as it were.
Just feels like this needs to be done properly, despite our differences.
She doesn't object, and with the ceremony taking place, Elsyan being led in, kind of linked arms with your mother, you head in and through towards the altar. Sasha travelling with Osric as Elsyan's mother and Osric otherwise step back to one side as you as you otherwise proceed with the ceremony. Chronicle begins to proceed about his rehearsed ceremony, otherwise casting the spell and proceeding to give the sermon to everyone on the otherwise welcoming of these two individuals to be bonded together. With the nature of it, he has the two rings that are otherwise being carried by Shattercrest, who otherwise carries them up in a basket up the aisle. As you otherwise proceed with the ceremony, there is a portion where, due to Dwarven ceremony, there is a bit where he otherwise crushes a small bit of incense into the bowl, mixes it with a small portion of water, and draws what looks to be 2 lines across the surface of, one across each of Elsyan and Sasha's forehead. There is a moment as part of the ceremony that, as he does so, there is a moment where you two kind of are given the floor. And instead of a "you may kiss the bride," you two are encouraged to otherwise knock heads.
Fucking dwarven culture.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do the straight up headbutting him. I'm going to
Sasha, we do this properly or not at all?
I don't think, Chris. I need a ruling here. Is it dwarven culture to fucking headbutt the shit out of your betrothed? Or is it just like you gently place your heads together?
I want you to say that again, but slower, Harlan. We are smashing our foreheads together.
Depends on which you would prefer to do. Also, the temptation to just go Simba.
Simba.
I did exactly that in my head.
Anyway.
Okay, I'm not going to headbutt you because you'd break.
That's just rude. Cast shield if you want.
Right.
Fine, we will lovingly touch foreheads.
Okay. It's a bit difficult for you, Elsyan, as you do have to kind of crouch a bit.
Oh no, I've got a step ladder.
No, the floor just comes up underneath you just to get to my height.
Oh man.
Yep.
Perfect.
Love Magnificent Mansion.
As you otherwise knock heads, the ceremony is complete, and the two of you are now married. With the process completing and otherwise clapping from everyone as there is a scattering of otherwise petals that begin to almost taper down from the ceiling above as several Farnsworth have baskets of them just chucking them out.
Now, I want it known that I could have automated that within the mansion, but I chose not to.
Perfection.
The ceremony is complete, and you otherwise kind of turn around and begin leaving the mansion for the after work and math of this all.
Oh, I've got a +2 to AC.
Is that all our marriage means to you?
No, it's just a wonderful, wonderful perk.
Shit, we didn't get a prenup. Shit, didn't get a prenup!
Please, I've got about the same amount of money as you. And I'm
the heir to land, okay?
I already have the land.
Well, my land has some value. Oh god, we're fighting already. Sasha, it's wonderful.
Love you too, Elsyan.
Love you too. You're adorable. Right,
Heading into the tavern for the after reception, there is a big round of applause as all of the Dwarven building team are there, kind of clapping away. Your staff are there, the guild, which has otherwise been built, and what guild members have otherwise joined also proceed to clap away, along with various other lords and ladies who you otherwise know, members of the Phoenix, and each of the currently appointed high individuals within Adamanthia are also present. As they do clap, they do kind of they do celebrate with you. As the food is brought out, you see all manner of various foods for the banquet here, kind of set up outside. You can see the banquet itself is decorated with elven flatbreads and other pizza-like designs and pizza rolls for the elven street food. And you see along the surface of it the various dwarven meals, meats and other pies and otherwise slightly decorative steaks throughout it all. Not a shred of greenery in sight. But
okay, I will have it known, we do occasionally eat spinach.
That's what you chose.
Don't don't blame me. Look, I looked at the book and I didn't see any.
That's because they have it just on their own. It's just raw spinach. Anyway.
I will say there is a large number of mushroom dishes as well.
Yes. So there are some healthy things in there. But
yeah,
as all this is happening with the kind of elegance of this, Malcom otherwise disappears off to the kitchen and begins to wheel out the cake. Go ahead, Malcom.
Okay, well, starters, looking at the cake. It's mostly the outside of the cake is pure white, representing, I guess you could say representing elven cleanery, I guess, or their high stature as they like to see themselves, mostly.
posh bastardry.
Yes, that one, there. It's very elegantly decorated in all kinds of elven things. It just looks elven on the outside. But then when you cut the cake open, it's like a chocolate cake on the inside, except it's more black, and you see slight streams of orange and red going through the inside of the cake, which slightly glow a little bit, looking like flowing magma through rock.
Oh shit.
This brings together both the elven side of Elsyan and the dwarven characteristic of Sasha together. And then on the top of the cake, instead of it being small, like a small man and woman together, it's a small Ford Storm with the small lapis crescendo wrap around it.
Aww. Very sweet. I'm a little bit touched.
It is indeed. As you...
something in my eye. Fuck.
Sasha, you're allowed to cry and accept that you're crying, because I too think it's beautiful. Elsyan wiped a single tear away.
As you take the first taste of the cake, it is exquisite. For a wedding cake, you expect it to be good, but this is something. As you try it, the chocolatiness and richness of it from the inside is blended with that of a slightly darkened, almost toffee flavour from the veins that otherwise seep through it, giving it a light softness and fluffiness to it without it being as heavy as lead. The icing on the outside is thin enough that it's not going to make a hard crust around the outside, but it is also soft and slightly chewy. You taste it and it is absolutely amazing for what you've had before. As you do kind of take the cake, it is passed around to everybody, as everybody does try some in the end. And you...
I want to see Elsyan's mother's reaction.
I do too.
Okay, go ahead and roll me insights, please.
This is her version of Elwood Flatfight. So that's my insight, so that's a plus 11, so that's 26.
26?
I only get a 10.
10. She doesn't try to hide it, as she does very much like the cake. For all high standards and high food, this is a very, very good cake. And although the richness of the interior, given the more dwarven style, is not necessarily to her tastes, she does like it. The guards don't have a bit, but then you see that a few of them do kind of almost look at the cake and like, oh, I do want a bit.
Okay, Elsyan is going to make sure that some of it gets wrapped up for them to take home with them.
Okay.
Because quite frankly, if he can get the house guard on his side.
Okay.
Bribe them with cake.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think the murder of my mother at the wedding is sort of out the window.
Unless she does pull some shit.
Unless she pulls something, which we are prepared for. But it's a case of, okay, look, we've got these relatively powerful friends. Stop fucking with me.
I would like to know one thing, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
From Malcolm's knowledge, or if he would have any knowledge on the subject, how much does he think that they can find strawberry stones in the Elven Kingdoms? Or if
They have... It is not dry enough, nor do they have enough mountains for it. It would be... It would be something that they would probably import in if they had somewhere to import it from.
Okay. I would like to... I know it might be improper for guards to do this, but I would like to speak with Elsyan's mother.
Okay.
And I would like to ask for permission to be able to share with them some pie, because I worked hard on this pie, and I would like everybody to enjoy the pie, even them.
This is where Malcolm fills up. It's the highest level of poison possible. Goes through all immunities, and he's been playing the long con this entire time.
I swear to God, if you poison my mother at my wedding, I am both impressed and a little annoyed that I didn't get the kill.
As it is kind of... As you do mention it, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check, please.
Can I provide advantage as it's my wedding day?
You'll be providing disadvantage if you assist, given that
Okay,
she doesn't
can
trust you.
Elsyan provide advantage? Actually, no, she trusts me even less.
Malcolm's probably the only one she trusts right now, given he made the cake.
Yeah,
that is understandable.
I've known
Can't argue with that logic.
I've known this figure for less than a day, and if anything happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself.
It's an 11, but I really want them to eat this pie.
Hey, tell her you're a prince.
She knows he's wearing a crown. She otherwise kind of looks and goes, I don't see why not. If it's as good as the cake, I think it would rather do them well.
Yay! I am going personally and giving them each some pie.
Okay. So
nice. We've got 4 guards on our side when we invade the Elven Kingdom. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. A few things to note here, as people do begin to kind of take up seating within your tavern and around the exterior, kind of in their groups. Is there anyone in particular you want to know who sits with who?
I mean, I'm of course curious where my mother sits.
Your mother, she is not alone, you note. As she does sit down, she sits down with Osdric.
Okay.
And does proceed to otherwise speak to him. And you see, otherwise, sat on a table nearby and seemingly listening in is Gree and Abbott. Both of whom you can easily tell are keeping an eye on her. They aren't security, but they do know very well. You see Maverick and Guardian Miadala are otherwise getting along perfectly fine, talking about what's going on. Markoth seems to be joining in as well, talking to them, seemingly sharing a few stories from one another.
Is Behold here?
He is. And you note that Behold is currently talking with Shishkri, as he knows who he is, and Bell, the Anis hag.
For a second, I thought you were about to say Shishkri and Bern. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh no.
No, but he is otherwise speaking to Bell, it seems. Otherwise having an interesting conversation about how he is dead. Chronicle seems to be hanging around with them too. Other people seem to be otherwise mingling and talking together, kind of enjoying the food as the strawberry stone pies are kind of lightly dished out to as a kind of second pudding to all of this. The various alcohols and wines, spirits and beers are brought out for the kind of post-celebrations, as you all do celebrate together.
Queglod, dead man's brew to the to Markov.
Oh, God's sake!
It may be the one thing we have that will work on him.
Very well. I'll bring it over to him, but I don't want him drinking anything if he doesn't know what it is.
Of course. Oh, no one knows what it is. That's the wonder of it.
Well, that's true.
Fucking problem.
If he explodes,
He just takes a sip. Turns out he's immune to all poison, but if he does get poisoned, the universe implodes on itself because it shouldn't be possible.
or a match of
So
being two.
he's drinking the Dead Man's Brew.
Well, I will head
Offer
over
it
to
to
the
him.
table and offer it to him.
Don't force it down his
Explain
gullet,
what it is.
obviously.
Okay.
Just so you're aware, Elsyan wanted me to offer this to you. If there's anything in the world that can get you drunk, this would probably be it, but no pressure.
He looks at it. It's worth a shot, I guess. He's going to make a con save.
I will pour him a shot.
He actually had to make a save.
The sheer fact he's making a save, that's a good sign.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no, what have we done?
He doesn't make the save.
Oh, no.
As he does drink it down, there's a moment of him kind of like, it's not bad. It's got an interesting tang to it. as he kind of almost licks his tongue against his teeth. Hath not right. Hey. he blinks a bit and kind of shakes his head. Oh.
I want Elsyan is watching this, by the way, and his arms just go up, straight up in celebration. Yes!
What are we going to do if he drops his disguise?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Like-
Wow.
Can
Look, if
Elsyan
anyone tries
try and
anything
cast
with
theming on him to make sure that this stays up?
It's fine. His ability is shape change, so long as he doesn't fall unconscious, he won't pop out of it. Oh, no, not unconscious being 0 hit points, not incapacitated, like
Thank
collapsing.
goodness.
Mhm.
He
Right,
otherwise kind of stops and blinks for a moment. Oh, where did you get that stuff?
Where did we get that stuff?
Barrenlands.
It was in the Barrenlands, in the capital. I don't recall off the top of my head.
I'm gonna go get some next time I'm over there.
Okay, just make sure you take it slowly. I assume this is a new experience for you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He kind of looks.
He's going to get more and more drunk while telling us how he's not drunk, isn't he?
Have we just found how to end the Blood Wars?
Wait, we got to end the Blood Wars by just getting them all to have a big party and drink together.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Nice.
Oh,
Consider. Demons get more lawful the drunker they get, whereas devils get less lawful, and they eventually meet in the middle.
So
they just all become mutual evil.
Yeah,
I think we might have the funds for that.
Yeah.
I would say from natural law, you all do know that the Blood Wars was lost by the demons.
Oh,
yeah.
Because the general law in my world is that they're under the servitude of the devils. However, they do have the intention to restart or reignite it. That was what the King of Blood was intending to do. Something that you would have picked up on.
Like, that just feels like some like. Yeah, so like, why would he want to like keep that going? Surely.
Why? Power.
More blood.
More blood. More power.
Yes.
He's not called the King of Blood for nothing.
Yeah.
This is true. If he gets powerful enough, he might be able to challenge Asmodeus. Who am I kidding?
Whoa.
Asmodeus just sort of twiddles the ruby rod and just people die around him. Hello there, ruby rod. Oh god.
It's just like, is that power word kill? No, it's just kill.
What?
Just kill. No save.
Is there a
Nothing.
save?
Kill.
No.
No save. What's the HP limit? There isn't one.
You
It's
just
just like
die.
it's just like
Who
what's
needs a
the
power word when I can just say die and they die?
What stops you from killing everyone? My choice. I am lawful after all.
Oh god.
It's just like, what's the HP limit? How much HP you got? 500 something?
Not enough.
That.
Yeah, it takes all those. It takes all that.
Oh please, 500 something far too low.
Yet Death Ward still works against it.
You really like Death Ward, don't you, Chris?
It's a great spell. Anyway, as the proceedings carry on, enjoying all of this, what were you going to say, Sasha?
I would like to introduce Maverick to Osric because I feel like they get along well.
They do, and otherwise spending some time kind of talking or in the way that they do get along. There is a moment where Maverick and Osbone just kind of sit down at a table together, and you know that because Maverick is telepathic and Osbone usually talks via a chalkboard, they just sat there staring at each other for several minutes, and it's kind of creepy.
Staring at it. You got one of them that's just hastily writing on a chalkboard, the other one's staring at him. Oh god!
No, because it's entirely telepathic, so he can communicate back.
Yes.
So Osric just sits there. Well, no, Osbone just sits there, kind of motionless, while Maverick otherwise stares at him, and it's like this weird staring contest between them.
I do want to know.
But one of them doesn't have a face.
I do want to know, like, once all the main courses of the meal are done, Elsyan is going to get up and wander around and mingle with people.
Okay. Mingling with
You
people
already
and
know
otherwise
who I
enjoying.
want.
Sasha.
You
There
already
is.
know who I want to talk to, Chris.
Who do you want to talk to?
We already talked about this.
Did we?
Elsyan's mother.
Ah.
Elsyan will also be wanting to talk to his mother, but I'll let Malcom go first. If he wants to seduce my mum, fine. I assume that's why you want to talk to her.
To actually become Daddy Malcolm.
Oh, God. No. No.
That's cursed.
Abort! Hit the meteor swarm spell! Boom!
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry.
Alright, so you head over to the
Wait,
table and
I've
you
got the
sit
wish
down
spell.
next to her.
I can make him Daddy Malcolm.
No.
God.
It's genuinely cursed and I love it. Anyway, sorry.
Then she can fulfill her promise. Anyway,
Her promise? I forgot
killing your
her promise.
father.
Oh, no.
So
Stop that.
you sit down opposite her, and as she's otherwise sat at the table, her guards are still there. They kind of watch as you approach, and you sit down.
So, how you finding this? How would Malcolm perceive how things would be perceived from a elven and dwarven wedding?
You know that the elven side of things would be fine. The dwarven side of things is typically not allowed within the elven kingdoms. Although she seems to be indifferent from what you're kind of reading on the surface. This is an instance where she was invited, and there's almost a strange moment of like she's here genuinely because it's her son's wedding. It's almost frighteningly calm. Considering that this was mentioned entirely for the purpose of ambushing her, entirely for the purpose of all of this going, she would turn up, she would cast a big spell, get countered, and then everyone would jump her.
No.
But no.
This is the best way to mess with her. Not do anything at all.
So, you otherwise sit down, ask her how she's enjoying it. She kind of takes a moment. I must admit, all of the food is nice, the proceedings were well done and well rehearsed. The music was good, and the spells and use of magical features wasn't overdoing. A lot of thought has been put into this, and I do look forward to seeing this flourish.
Well, that's good. And I'm glad you enjoyed the food. I worked pretty hard on making the food.
Well, I must thank you for that. It was certainly something. Maybe I'll invite all of you to the Elven Kingdom sometime. See what the cuisine is like there.
Oh, you
Oh.
don't have to.
Very small portions. Elsyan starts with his hands, and he's just like, "I'll tell you when." Just get like he puts his hands out, like his index fingers and thumbs are out, and he just gets them slowly closer and closer together, overlapping, closer and closer, and there's just like a very small hole left, about that big for a main course.
Rook fills his stomach. Like, oh no.
They do a lot of them. Like there's like 7 main courses.
I'm gonna need more than that if it's that little bit.
Just. That's why I eat the flatbread. It's the one thing the peasants do well.
The Elven Kingdoms invented tapas.
I want it known that by this point, Elsyan is a little drunk.
You're also
like-
not there at the moment because it was just Malcolm at the table.
So I do apologize.
So,
Zoop.
Malcolm, you may carry on.
That would be nice. I recently got this book that has many recipes inside of it, but it would be nice to actually see the food prepared in person. It might give me a different perspective than just a book.
It certainly might be something. Well, I'll be sure to send an invite at some point. After all, I believe Elsyan hasn't caught up with his baby sister just yet.
Maybe not. Do you mind if I ask you something? And honestly, I would like to get an honest answer, if that's okay.
She otherwise kind of waits expectantly.
What's the deal between you two? Like, why are you after him, I should say? It's
I'm not entirely sure what you're implying.
it's more instead of after, it's more trying to get him to come to you.
I mean, his home is still the Elven Kingdoms. He up and left out of nowhere and since tagged along with you lot. From what I understand, he spent some time in Kalinko with a friend before otherwise travelling with you lot. I don't know what his intentions are, but he just up and left.
I see. Well, in that case, why? Malcolm's just gonna be blunt about this.
Okay.
But-
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Prepping my
Elsyan's-
armor and weaponry.
Elsyan just putting hand into large fold, pulling out wand, ready to cast.
Everyone's just hand on
Everyone,
weapons.
the entire
The
wedding
entire
goes quiet.
stops.
Yeah, but Rook can't subtly put a hand on weapons. It's so goddamn big.
Like you just sort of put your arm like this and grab it, resting back. Like, what the fuck's going on?
You do the like yawn and reach over move.
Just a oh,
Shing.
very noticeable.
Thing is, he has to grab it with both hands. So it's like, oh, cling, cling, shing.
Hooray for quick draw sheath.
This is true.
Then what was with? How long ago was it when the incident happened in the tavern, or in our sleeping area?
Oh man.
3 months and a week.
Is Malcolm also a little
Yeah.
drunk?
It's a little bit if he's been drinking.
Malcolm hasn't
The,
drank
dr-
yet.
the dream fuckery, which is exceptionally weird because elves don't dream.
It was what, about a week before you went and fought the King of Blood?
Yeah.
Approximately, yeah.
So that would have been around about like 3 months and 2 weeks. So that would be 14 weeks ago.
So, what was that? What was the deal with what happened about 14 weeks ago? And I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean.
Getting that before Elsyan did.
This is
The
why I'm
incident-
She does look at you almost strangely concerned.
None of it was her, was it?
The incident where you
Is she casting witness?
Oh, the bitch!
wait, what? Hold on. Can I insight what she just asked?
Go
What
for it.
she means? Did she seriously not know?
there's a small part of me that really hopes she
Okay.
doesn't know.
Natural 20. You get the genuine impression she didn't know.
Hmm.
If this is a spell, then she would probably know it.
True. However, you do know from previously countering it that it'll be 15 plus her persuasion, and that is a natural 20 for a total of...
That is true.
A natural 20 for the
Total of
Total-
29.
Harlan
Yeah.
just did it.
Yeah.
Oh, bye, Harlan.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Oh boy.
Welcome back, Harlan.
I don't know what the fuck was just happening. I'm concerned.
Internet
I
went down.
think Elsyan's mother pulled more psychic bullshit.
No, I don't. Why? I think the more whiny things happen, Sasha. She
Mm.
wasn't pulling psychic bullshit.
So
to tell you
that
the
was
truth.
that's a total of 29 with a natural 20, correct?
Let me just double check my insight. Yes, that is a total of 29.
You get the genuine impression she didn't know. And you kind of look at her and it is concerning. You kind of get this... It's strange enough as you do get the general census that she hasn't been aggressive up to now. It's strange.
Is this even Elsyan's mother? Has she not just made a clone or something?
Body double, simulacrum.
Even with simulacrum, it would retain the memories.
True.
Simulac mum.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, that's dreadful. Can he please take psychic damage for that?
Sasha's got too many hit points at this point, but
Yeah, I have a hypothesis and I don't like it.
Go on.
I'll say mentally you're
Hold
bloody,
on, we'll
Sasha.
get to that.
Fair, fair.
Small trickle of blood
Malcolm-
comes out of my nose.
At this point, can Elsyan come up?
Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead. You always come up and take a seat.
Hey, mother. How are you?
You're thoroughly drunk, aren't you, Elsyan?
I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit drunk. And I just want to know how is my little sister?
She's doing well, thank you. It's a shame you weren't there. Well, not there for the birth, but after. She's been
It is
growing relatively well. She's doing okay.
excellent. Not been poisoning her mind with fratricide, have you?
She looks at you with kind of a strange look.
Oh.
As Malcolm, you generally pick up that she's very confused by almost this interaction between you.
Oh.
Elsyan, I'll say, given that you're drunk, I'll allow you to make an insight check with disadvantage.
Yep. I mean, God. What do you mean?
Natural 1. You
Mummy!
genuinely believe that she's doing something to hide something here. She's trying her most. She's playing dumb.
What do you mean? You don't know what I meant. What? Really? Really?
Can
Would this be counted as Elsyan making a scene with him raising his voice?
Yes, Elsyan is
I'd
making a scene.
say this would be the beginning of a scene, so those with high enough perception would start noticing this. So
Do I count as with high enough perception?
So Bern and Rook, you two don't notice this. You're busy partying. Along with a lot of the other guests. The only the ones who do take note are Gree and Abod because they were watching. Others seem to take note but seem to start ignoring it, given the effect of this might just be the groom being overly drunk.
I think the two important people are watching, so it's fine.
I think.
What about the fact that I was watching Malcolm?
Oh, if you were watching Malcolm, then I'd say you'd probably see what's going on. You'd just be kind of sat to one side noticing this, I'd say.
It's certainly being my prince, I was watching him because, fuck.
Fair.
Okay. Elsyan is going to do something
Bern's off talking to Malcolm.
possibly a bit thick.
Okay.
Okay, that's it. We need a private conversation. Right now,
hold on.
well, I'm going to cast
okay.
Ravi's telepathic bond.
Whilst this is happening, Sasha comes over and Lesser Restorations him to undo the drunkenness.
Okay. I will allow this. I'm also going to quickly ask what the cast speed of Rary's telepathic bond is.
That's a fair point.
And then, Malcolm, what were you going to say?
I would like to telepathically ask Featherwing to
Oh, it's in
go
action.
to Queglod and ask her to look at Elsyan's mother with Witch's Sight, please, and tell me what he sees.
Okay. So, partway through, as Queglod, as you're kind of like sat there for a moment, you kind of feel the second weight on your other shoulder. As you kind of look over, there isn't a Felipe there. As you watch as a kind of a small draconic head kind of peers around, of a fairy dragon that kind of unstealths and looks at you and just says in common, Malcom would like you to just look at Elsyan's mother, see if there's anything off about her. Before going invisible again, you feel the weight lift.
Alright then. Just for my reference, Shape Wraith and Shape Shade, how long do they stick around?
Coming
I'll
from your
behold
lantern, 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool,
So,
cool.
so
Yeah,
I'm saying for the effect of this, you can hold them up indefinitely, just because you can theoretically cast the spell in 7 days, and they'll stick around another 7 days. So. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That being the case, then, if Behold and Chronicle Loy are going to be here for the after party, I'm going to have Chronicle Loy move over to some of the squishier civilians and just, engage in polite conversation.
Okay.
And have Behold stay close, and then I will head over to their table.
Okay. You begin to head over with more people kind of pulling their attention and kind of this mentioned. As this does initially happen, your mother almost recoils as you do cast the spell, but then the telepathic bond sets in. Do you just communicate between the two of you?
This is just between the two of us.
Okay.
This is private conversation in the way that only psychic elves can, through angry faces and telepathic shouting.
Okay.
But it's like the elf version of angry faces, where you just raise one eyebrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the
We
feeling
just all
that
see the intense eyebrow wiggling.
I mean, I get the feeling that Elsyan is to elves like Legolas is, where to all elves he's like really emotive and very much like over-expressing himself.
So,
But to other people, he isn't. He's just anyone that's not an elf. But okay.
you otherwise lean forward with Rari's telepathic bond kicking in, the mental connection otherwise connecting with your mother.
Just a mental connection, just so we can talk in private. What do you mean you don't know? You had me kill him.
Wait, what?
You
Kill
had
who?
me. My brother. Give me a second while I try to remember which one died of mistweed. Oh god, there was two of them. I think it was Shush.
You only have 2 brothers, don't you? How many?
I should have noted down. I believe the absolute eldest one, he was the one that died of mistweed.
2 older brothers. One died from a misweed overdose, which was your older brother, but not your eldest, by the name of
Okay,
Thelis.
You had me kill Reveless. And in turn, you would kill father.
Wait, what?
What?
That's what we agreed.
This is all telepathic,
That's
so
what you said.
you wouldn't know this, Harlan. What?
That's
No,
what
I
you
meant
said.
why is that his argument?
Why are you saying you don't know this?
But there's a moment of almost pause as she does look at you with kind of this moment of concern. You've been my only son up to now. What are you saying? And you watch as there's almost this moment of fear does kind of cross her face.
What game are you playing? Why did you come here and just act so normal?
I came here. It's your wedding day.
I get it, but
Your father's alive and well. He's currently taking care of your sister.
game are you playing? By the mask, what game are you playing? Tell me.
I'm not. What's happened to you?
A few weeks ago, forced me to dream and then manipulated me into hurting my friends, my loved ones.
You know I'm not a practitioner of magic.
No, you're a practitioner of psionics.
No.
Yes.
I'm a politician. I don't dabble in these things. That's why I have guards. We walked here for over a month after you sent those letters. What do you mean?
Elsyan's going to inside. I presume Sasha's done the.
She's done lesser restoration. So go ahead and roll me.
Yes, I have lesser restorated.
Natural 1.
Another natural 1.
You, same thing. You're convinced she's playing games.
So you do. You just play games. You manipulate. You. This is why I left.
There's a moment where she is speechless, where she kind of pauses and doesn't say anything, before she does speak out outside of the telepathy. What have you all done to my son? As she looks around at all of you. Queglod.
Mm-hmm.
You look over her form. She is magicless. She can't cast spells. She has no magic items. She is magicless.
Just to check, do we know if that means that she can't have any psychic powers, or is that...
There are some spells that can block this kind of magic. Notably, there would be the Amulet of Detection against Protection and against Divination and Location. You do not know whether this works versus Witch Sight, but you know that it would work versus Detect Magic or anything else. But from general inspection, she seems magicless.
I'm sorry,
Did she say this
what
like
did we do to him?
They have done nothing to me. Don't bring them into this. This is between you and me.
No. This is no longer between you and me. At which point,
is.
Two of the guards kind of step forward, kind of very much being more at attention.
I'll step forward too.
Okay. Right. Look, Elsyan, honey, what is going on? Because you two did the weird elven telepathic eyebrow-raising thing.
Okay, yes, I know. I've told you what she's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's denying everything. She's saying that I was only ever her only son.
I'll say Elsyan, you don't notice this as you're absolved in the moment, but Malcom, you realise that everybody is looking now. This has evolved into a scene.
Right.
Why won't you just admit it? What have you done to...
What is there to admit to? I don't understand.
I'm inciting now. Can I now incite now that she's saying things out loud? Okay.
And can I?
Go ahead. I'll allow everyone to make an insight here.
That is a 28 on my insight.
I will say everyone except for Elsyan, given you've been...
I think Elsyan's gone a bit too far into his own idea here.
16 plus 7, 23.
Shit, the dice are doing such a good story. Fuck.
Almost in a 20, that's an 8.
21.
I'm not gonna roll because I've rolled the highest that I possibly can, and Malcom generally believes that she actually has no idea what's going on.
Okay, that is fair. So let's go through this from lowest. Queglod, you got an 8, you said.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to make heads or tails, but she seems genuine. Bern, total?
21.
21. She seems genuine. Rook.
23.
She seems genuine, and at this point you can tell she's getting scared. Sasha.
28.
You can tell she's being genuine. Either there's magic at play or she is being genuine, and you can tell that she's now getting very scared given all of the powerful figures in the room.
Elsyan, you know how I'm quite good at reading people? Fuck, I can even...
know her, Sasha.
Elsyan, she's telling the truth. And I know we've been fooled before, but
Really?
I-
You're not gonna believe?
I believe you, but I think either something's happened to her, something's happened to you, or there's something else at play here. Because as much as I know the things that have been done to you, that woman there doesn't seem to know a single fucking thing about it. Apologies for the swearing, Mrs. Aleuir.
I'm with
Right.
Sasha on this one.
What?
The same
playing
here.
them.
It's
But
hard to know what to think, but I
Play
can
them all.
see through even the most
Ah.
powerful illusions.
Mm.
Either this
Right.
woman is a mage of unprecedented power,
Mm.
or has never cast a spell in her life.
I actually want from memory, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
When the seed started to bloom from Elsyan, we did get to see her a little bit.
Only Elsyan
Does-
saw her.
We saw her as well.
No,
Did you?
because Malcolm dispelled it, didn't he? Or something.
Yeah, I dispelled the
Oh, when it
seed
was
that-
growing from... Oh,
Yeah.
that's what
His
you
corpse.
mean. Sorry, I thought you meant
Does
when it
it
was
act-
passed on to the
does
rest of
this-
you.
actually look like her.
Go ahead and roll me a history check with disadvantage.
Mm.
And does
Is-
the figure we bought? Oh no, we didn't see her. Only Elsyan.
Right? Can
Oh, come on.
You think
Right.
about it.
Go.
You saw it beginning to bloom, but it never fully bloomed. You saw the head and you saw it beginning to rise up before you dispelled it. It didn't have a chance to fully fledge. You don't know.
Chronicle.
uh,
Chronicle, he was in our heads for a bit, wasn't he?
Can Elsyan use the? Can I use the protest of my party to try again with the insight? To take a deep breath and just try.
I will say...
Think about it more logically to get another insight roll, or I'll be fine to take it with disadvantage.
I'm going to say with the 2 natural ones, you will have to make it with disadvantage, I will say.
Yeah, that's entirely fair. Just don't get a natural one. Okay, that's a 19, I do believe. Yeah, that's a 19.
As much as you hate it... Oh, no. Don't change music now.
Not combat music. As much as you hate it, she turns into Prill. It was Prill all along. He's back, and back with a vengeance.
Yeah, it just so happens to be that after this one it goes straight to the Terror in the Woods music, which is one I haven't used before. So,
What?
So, as much as you hate it, you get the same feelings as your friends. She's easy to read, yet she's scared.
You are actually telling the truth, aren't you? You're actually... You're completely telling the truth.
If you don't mind, Elsyan, I think I'll leave now.
No, wait, no. I've made a...
She kind of takes a few steps back, and the guards kind of do put their hands on her shoulder and do kind of pull her in amongst them, forming almost a box formation.
I'm so... No, wait, there's been a grave mistake. Someone's
Ma'am.
personally...
A lot of... Someone's been messing with someone's head here, and I'm fairly convinced it's not you. Because, as you've said, you're not a mage, you're not a psychic, you're a politician. This is a big deal for your son, because he was under the impression that a lot of really, really awful things had been done. I am very sorry that he scared you. I beg of you, take your time away, but I think we have to work out what is going on here.
What was Sovak to Elsyan?
Grandfather.
Shit, Sovek thought he was a bitch as well.
Do you have anyone named Sovak in your family?
Kind of turns and looks. My late father, yes. No, hold on, no. I'm getting the family tree wrong. She
Father-in-law.
doesn't say that.
Father-in-law.
Father-in-law. My late father-in-law.
At least he was right about that.
What about them? Now, Elsyan, Sam only vaguely remembers, but Elsyan would remember like the stuff he found out about her and the mask, wouldn't he? Oh, what he now believes, or was utterly questioning what he found out.
Do you remember where you learned that information?
Sam doesn't, because he's an idiot.
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
Okay. This is why I got proficiency in history, because Sam is... No, that was a natural 1.
That was a natural 1. For a total of...
Okay, got a plus 11.
Plus 11, so minus 5, that'll put it at 7.
6. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. She still had the 1 from the natural 1.
Yeah.
I will say, if anyone here would like to give him assistance, I will allow it.
I would like to...
Given that quite a few people were here. And
Yeah.
given Sasha what she said, I will allow advantage on this roll if you wish to re-roll it, Sam.
Obviously I don't.
You should stop using that
Okay,
dice.
not much
Okay,
That's
right.
the thing, it's
Because I don't
both.
normally do this. Can I get 2 new die, please? Because they have both fucked me on my wedding day. There's only one person fucking Elsyan on his wedding day, and that's Sasha. Now.
Right.
Oh.
So, I will say with that 12, you do remember, and it does hit you almost like a brick wall. You remember when it happened. As you turn around and look, there's this moment as a hand is placed on your shoulder as Behold is standing there. And you go back and a single tear rolls down your eye, from your eye as you realise the being of enmity showed you those images. Because it offered to have you take her place among Mask.
I'm guessing Elsyan's getting the vague sense that he's been played.
You start thinking it, yeah.
Like a kazoo, because they're easy to play. I was
Like
gonna
the
say like
cheap-
a fiddle, but fiddle takes skill. Elsyan, you just need to have a bitch fest with and he'll believe you.
You kind of have that realization as your mother does stop at the door and does kind of turn, and you do kind of see that she is genuinely very scared as she does kind of pull a cloak over her and leave. Her guards kind of moving swiftly with her. To which point, Abod, who's otherwise there, and the rest kind of go back to almost an awkward mingling. As Abod stands up next to you and does whisper it in your ear, Elsyan. Would you like me to go after her?
No,
Very well.
no, I've done enough to have tonight. Everyone, enjoy yourself. Elsyan would like to recast Magnificent Mansion and then go sulk in his Magnificent Mansion.
Okay. Do you bar anyone else from entry?
Oh, Elsyan hard bars anyone else.
Including Sasha?
It's going to be a case of he is going to be... Elsyan's effectively just making himself a room to go have a panic attack in.
Okay.
And he's going to be real small. He's going to be leaning up against the door. I presume sound passes through the door normal.
Okay.
If there is a door, can I just be waiting by it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Talking if necessary, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else follow? Does anybody else want to do anything in this situation?
Under this situation, Rook doesn't have full understanding, so probably not. He'd want to comfort Elsyan, but he shut himself in a room.
Bern wasn't here for any of that, so he'd have no idea.
Well, Malcolm's gonna go outside, but he's not following. He's just going outside to try and get a breath of fresh air, trying to piece together what the hell just happened.
I'll go out with Malcolm.
EastEnders is what just happened.
You two otherwise kind of stand outside, kind of breathing in the air as it has now gotten to a night and it has started to get a little bit chilly with the... Actually, no, it'll be a nice warm night, actually, given that you're midsummer here. You take in a breath. It's warm and dry. The wedding feast on the outside where the dwarves have otherwise carried on drinking unbeknownst to anything. As this has all taken place, Elsyan's mother, you can see just in the distance walking off with the guards kind of hastily. You kind of stand there and watch. One other individual does come out with you. As wandering out, you watch as... Just gotta get the right one here. As you kind of feel a hand kind of reach and kind of loop around your elbow, you feel clarity wander up.
Hello.
Hi.
She takes a breath of fresh air and kind of waits with you. Almost getting a slight... You get a light sense that where this happened before, that she's almost trying to comfort you in a strange way.
Man, this is confusing.
I don't understand. I mean, I didn't see the whole fiasco of you lot fighting that night, but... I mean, if it's not Elsyan's mum, then... Who's messing with Elsyan?
The people... Well, am I still in the room? I don't know where the Magnificent Mansion
We're
door is.
outside.
Magnificent Mansion is...
I've put the door exactly where it was.
So that means that,
Right.
Sasha, you'd probably be sat on a chair right next to where the doorway is, which is probably like 10 feet away from where Malcom and Rook are currently
Right,
standing,
right.
looking over the fence of the
I'm going to
outer
call over.
courtyard.
I'm just going to be a beautiful minding this to connect dots, but seeing as I'm vaguely aware that it was the being of enmity that gave that information, the being of enmity was who gave part of the information about that. If someone is playing silly buggers here, then it makes sense for whoever was in charge of the being of enmity to be the one who was involved in that.
So, Queglod's parents, potentially?
Brilliant deduction there, Rook.
Okay, Harlan. I heard the brilliant. I hate it.
I
That's
get
all right.
it now.
Like, I heard it instantly, and my heart sank.
Oh, it was just like a... I'm not even... I'm
mean-
just gonna pretend
Okay,
like
I didn't get it till you pointed it out, and I was like, oh.
No, Harlan. I want it known that I'm also mainly annoyed that I didn't get there first.
Sorry, I had to bring a bit of levity to this
Oh, God, yes.
incredible amount of seriousness.
Okay, we've got a wedding here that hasn't gone right. It's just an episode of EastEnders, and I'm not okay with that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm going to join them all outside at this point.
Okay.
Bern's probably gonna do the same.
If you don't mind, I'm going to have Felipe follow them from a distance.
Yeah.
Need trouble.
I was
Fair,
gonna
fair.
say that I was sending Featherwing as well, just to keep an eye, just to make sure that one, nothing bad happens to them, or two, they don't release whatever the hell they have over that makes them think that they didn't do anything if they have that.
Okay. As you otherwise kind of send Felipe and Featherwing with them, you otherwise kind of look from a distance, watching where they travel, kind of blending into the night sky with one, an invisible fairy dragon, and two, a black raven, following them behind. You watch as there is a moment. How close are you getting to them?
I think for Featherwing, because Featherwing, I don't really understand their anything about them at all, so I wouldn't know if they have any way of seeing invisibility or anything, so I'd probably try and have feathering like in close enough proximity to maybe be able to hear him.
Okay. But keeping a distance to be safe from any form of detection.
Yeah.
I will say it'll be borderline disadvantage if you wish to do any listening in. Queglod, how about you?
I want, being unable to become invisible, I want Felipe to mostly keep his distance. I want him to intermittently get within 30 feet, because he benefits from witch sight.
Okay.
But for the most part, he's hanging way back. I just want to know where they're going and where they're staying.
I do tell Queglod that if something happens, tell me where exactly, and I'll teleport us there.
Will do.
Okay. You have them follow. I would like perception check with disadvantage from Featherwing, and I would like a stealth check from Felipe. However, failure will only really be noted by the fact that there's a raven, quote-unquote, dive bombing them.
Oh shit, a raven! Fuck! Mind bolt!
With
Pew.
this, since
21 for stealth.
with this, because I'm listening, is it mine or his?
That would be Featherwing's, because it's
Okay.
through the familiar. Okay. I mean, either way, if it was a high or low roll for the stealth, if they do shoot it down, you know where they are for an hour. So.
Well, that's also true, yeah. And
However-
to be honest, the day they've had, I can't begrudge them a little stressful.
Shoots arrow, misses, makes it worse.
Oh no!
So, with the stealth, I will say that Felipe does otherwise keep a lookout. With your arcane detection and with witch sight, you pick up nothing on any of them. You know that they don't carry magical gear. I'd say from general mention, otherwise from kind of a loose-lipped Elsyan at one point. You do understand that their magic is instant, and it's usually cast through their spells and armor and weapons to make it magical. But outside of that, a lot of them they don't carry magical items on them, because that way, if they're killed, they don't have any good loot on them, so they're lesser targets. Malcom, what's your total there?
5.
5. There is a point where they do stop, and one of the guards kind of does lean in and say something before you see kind of Elsyan's mother nod, and you do. It's hard to make her out with kind of the darker light, but they do otherwise head over to a tavern or a inn and head in.
Which tavern would this be?
I am just getting the list now. Oh, wait, do I still have it? New computer?
Ooh.
Oh no. Do I still have my list of taverns?
Regardless of the location of the tavern and the name of it, would Felipe, would Queglod and Malcom be letting us know that, oh, they've gone into a tavern?
Okay, well, let me quickly check to see if I have...
Give you a tavern that Bern stayed in before he left, everyone,
The Fuzzy Duckling.
if you want.
Oh wow, yes.
I'm trying to see if I have the list somewhere, because I genuinely can't find the document for all of it.
Silken Serpentine.
No, that's not a tavern. That's not a tavern. That's underground snoo.
You are not sending my mother to the Silken Serpentine. Fuck off.
Oh my god.
Well,
It would improve her mood.
that's unfortunate. I don't. Hold on. Go, Crabby.
Fuck. Is Elsyan the asshole?
It was Elsyan deluding himself all along.
You carry on discussing while I see if I can find this.
I'm sat here genuinely trying to figure out, from what I know, what's caused this. A modified memory on Elsyan? Or
No, the being amendmenty when he put you
yeah.
guys on their sleep and killed Behold, I think.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking like, also.
Elsyan thought that the whole stuff, the mask, sure. That was entirely being empty. But
Yeah, but before that, it wasn't.
before that, Elsyan truly believed truly believe that he
Killed
he
his
killed his
brother.
brother, and our
and his
brother
mother
died
made him.
because of misweed, and that my mother made me, and oh god. And it doesn't explain the fucking dreaming.
And Sovek also thought she was a bitch.
That is true.
Yeah,
In
yeah, you're
fairness,
not wrong there. Yeah.
Sovek was weird.
In all honesty, Sovek would have thought anyone's a bitch.
Also, I'll be back in like 1 minute.
I mean, so I thought you were a bitch. So,
Yes, because Elsyan is. Obviously, by this encounter.
Hmm.
God, she doesn't even have Sarx. Okay, well, I want to know.
Oh god,
is Miss...
my mother's got the same hit points as a commoner! Oh god!
No, she'll be a noble, so that's at least another 1.
Oh,
Sorry, that was
God.
that's fairly accurate.
I know. No, I know the I know the vague difference between the two, and it's funny.
Where is it? Oh wait.
I mean, this is fucking Sam up a little bit, because suddenly, oh god, is Elsyan just insane? And also, is Mystic just a fever dream to him now? Like, as a concept? Because I'd be okay with that.
Wait, is this it?
Oh.
Good enough. The brass cask, which you know well because it was the tavern where you all met.
Well, obviously we don't know it well, do we?
Does Malcom
Yes.
see any of the
No.
hidden druids?
Not that you'd recognize this time of night, no.
Not this time of night.
No. You know that if they are traveling at this time of night, it's going to be nigh impossible to spot them, especially as Featherwing.
Well, not with... Oh wait, that's right. I'm looking through Featherwing.
Yeah.
Can I stop looking through Featherwing and look?
Around your tavern?
Yeah, I would presume that there would be some, since Rahal is here.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a nature check.
That's with a plus 10, so 17.
17. You look around, you do see a few. They're kind of keeping themselves out of the way, and they're being very careful about where they are.
Okay. How do I do this subtly?
With a stealth
Do I
check.
really need to do it subtly? Well, I need to say something to him, so...
just yell out to them. Very stealth.
Yeah, that'd be soothing to them. Hey,
God,
wait,
if only
you're
druids had a secret language they could use to communicate secretly.
That's
Hey,
with
you
writing.
hiding over there.
Yeah, Druidic is specifically writing.
And I don't think I can say all that I need to say with the writing, because it's not typical wording. I will try and see if I can like split off a little bit from the others.
Okay.
The place was the broken cask, right?
The
Or
brass
bronze-
cask.
brass cask.
Brass cask.
I will be saying, going out away from everybody, kind of in the general vicinity of maybe 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be saying, the woman and the guards that left from here, they are someone we've been trying to keep an eye on. I need them to be followed, and I need to know what they say.
You watch as one of the rats kind of nods its head, and you watch as 3 of them kind of dart out from cover and travel across the road and head in that direction.
Could I have a little conversation with Elsyan? As I believe I'm aware at this point that we've lost contact on them.
What's the range on Rory's telepathic bond?
Infinite on the same plane.
What we're doing is, because I'm sort of sat by like one side of the door on my end of the mansion.
Okay.
It's the most dismal, dim-looking shack I could make.
So it's still have a few tapestries, but that's it.
There's only one Farnsworth here? Like, what the fuck?
There's one Farnsworth, there's only like 2 columns holding up the ceiling, and, you know, the floor's clean.
But don't forget, there is the pit.
All the furniture,
There's
there's a pit, there's a pit in the back.
Elsyan has made himself a pit. This is what he feels like he deserves right
There's
now.
there's a pit, and all of the decorations are otherwise covered over with white sheets.
Right. Elsyan, this is a lot. Are you... Okay, I know you're not okay, but what do you need right now?
Answers. Figure out what's going on. To be able to take it all back. Oh,
I mean, you've got a wish spell. You kind of could if you wanted to.
Nice.
I just thought I'd mention it.
Would
Yeah.
Elsyan, if Elsyan's
El-
desperate enough.
I mean,
Mhm.
wait, no, that won't solve it. There'll still be problems, and we'll still need to figure out what it did. And
Right.
Okay, no. Elsyan's desperate.
Wait,
Not so
wait,
desperate
wait.
as to. Oh, what?
I was going to say, what if I cast Scrying on your mother and just listened into what she's saying right now? Maybe she'll give something away if it's a trick on her end.
No, she
Or-
she wasn't giving. She was telling the truth, and I
So
Blew
was
up and-
Hurricane.
You're right.
It's better to
You're
be
right,
safe
but her
than
guards
sorry.
will notice, and that will freak them out more if they're not actually.
Hmm.
They might not notice. I don't know
We know
anymore,
where they're
Sasha.
staying. We know where they're staying. I say, at least one of us go. Well, no, maybe not one of us as the two. I feel like she kind of thinks I've brainwashed you, which is not a good vibe for the
No.
for like the partner. Tell you what, we'll have someone go over there in the morning. We will try and set up some sort of meeting and try and work out what the fuck is going on. Because
I can figure out what's going on, Sasha. I can do it.
are you sure?
Oh, it's a stupid idea, Sasha.
Okay, tell me the stupid idea, and then we'll see whether it's. If it's like Sasha levels of stupid, that's fine. If it's more than Sasha levels of stupid, then we have a problem.
Sasha becomes a unit of measurement.
How?
Look, I had myself be thrown at a motherfucking Geist by a giant
Okay, this is
goddamn
fair.
mecha robot.
On
I
a
think it's a valid unit of measurement.
on a scale of 1
To Sasha.
to Sasha,
Shouldn't it be 10 to Sasha?
no, 1 to Sasha. On a scale measurement of 1 to Sasha, and it is like 3 Sashas.
Oh god. Okay.
It's
what-
to wish to have the knowledge of what happened to me.
You know, if you do that,
It
then
could turn out so horribly wrong.
yeah.
But where? But I.
How about this? I use divine intervention.
Oh boy.
I want to know what the fuck just happened. Well, no, I
No.
want to know.
No, we know what happened. Elsyan fucked up.
What's up?
I want to know.
Aleuir was here.
Elsyan rolled 2 natural ones on insight and probably messed up his relationship with his mother forever. But then again, that's nothing new to him. But maybe it could have been.
Similar to what Elsyan is asking, I want to know what happened in terms of what happened to Elsyan. What's gone on with his mind? or because if we find out what's happened to his mind, if it's nothing's happened to his mind, then we know something's either happened to her mind or she's lying. But if something has happened, then we know what it is. So.
Okay.
And owing to the fact that Turan is a god, I presume she can do something here to work out what the fuck's going on. Are you all right with me making this roll, everyone?
I mean,
Yeah.
it can't hurt you if it doesn't work,
Yeah,
can
that's
it?
true. That's true.
It's always worth a try. I just went and had a look at Divine Intervention just to make sure that the wording has to be sound. So, what are you asking for before you roll?
Okay, I'm gonna put these down.
That's fine.
That would have worked. I want to say that.
That is true. However, it was also going to be a 78 before it was dropped. So.
Oh, okay, we don't know that. Essentially, I'm asking, what tampering has occurred to Elsyan's mind, if any, and if possible, who has done this and when?
Go ahead and roll.
Oh, motherfucker.
34 or lower.
Nope. Oh, yes.
Motherfucker!
25. In that moment, you kind of hold, as you otherwise kind of hold the shield, you kind of clutch it close, you feel it's warm. You get an instinct as you otherwise reach your hand out, and it goes through the door towards where Elsyan is, as you grab his hand. You feel a warmth, Elsyan, otherwise rush through you as Greater Restoration is cast, specifically targeting something you didn't know was there. As your mind is lifted, you remember... No. Not your mother. You look and you watch the memory as your mother tells you this, tells you that your brother died of misweed, telling you to go and get rid of your other older brother. You watch as she tells you that she'll deal with your father. You watch as the image changes. You watch the memory through again. Sasha standing there with you, otherwise holding your hand through it all. As tears stream down your face. You see, as a practitioner of illusion, your uncle, Delman Arnok, standing where she stands with a disguised self upon him. As he casts Dominate Person. You watch as this happens, you watch as you go over the image of you pushing your brother off the cliff. You watch as he falls, you turn and walk back. Your mother, otherwise unknown to all of this. You act like you both know. Yet you see right through him. And in every scene that you see of you with your mother thereafter, you see him in the background every single time. You realize this wasn't your mother's doing. The being of enmity played you. You realize she is your mother. You realize your father, if he is still alive, may now be in grave danger. You realize your little sister is now at home with your father, with Delman Arnok somewhere in the Elven Kingdoms, and your mother here. Your mind races for that moment as you suddenly kind of, as Sasha, you watch this happen. You feel the shield grow cold for that moment before you hear a voice in your head. What was corrupt has now been brought from the wound. Do what you will with this information.
Thank you, Atura.
The image fades as you kind of sit back there, Elsyan, you're sat within the mansion, kind of tears streaming down your face, Sasha holding your hand. The rest of you watching as this divine flare now disappears, the light emanating from Sasha dimming, as all the dwarves kind of have looked over at this strange occurrence. Before going back to drinking, quite a few of them thinking that they're too drunk.
Yeah. We need to drink more to get undrunk.
Okay.
The rest of you all look over and you see this.
Sasha's eyes are wide.
Okay. Right. We have a course of action. First of all, we need to stop my mother going back to the Elven Kingdom. We need to keep her safe. Then I need to talk to those guards. And then... Oh boy. Is everyone...
What happened?
Did anyone have any plans, like, after the time trip? This is Sam, after the wedding?
I was just going to be doing some research, maybe making a dragon killing spell.
Taking a few days out between the wedding and, before the next half of the time skip begins is fine.
That's, if people are alright with that, because this seems time sensitive, and also got a little sister to protect.
I mean, if you have something to take us there, we can go there right now.
Okay. So
Elsyan
very
pulls
simple.
out his chalk. Okay,
Very
that's
simple.
but I can cast teleport as well. Wait, shit, don't have it prepared.
I have it prepared. I just need like an item and your help.
Ooh.
Okay, first things first, we should probably go speak to Elsyan's mum.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
I think that.
We know you don't understand. I
Okay, right.
explain everything to them.
Let me explain.
Okay, off you have.
It wasn't her. It was my uncle, Delman Arnock. He was the same guy that raised my grandfather. So he has been manipulating everything.
He could have been manipulating.
He is known in the other kingdom, but no one really knows about him.
He could be why Sovek thought your mother was a bitch because he done the same thing to him. Oh,
exactly.
fuck.
It could be a major. Why would he raise Sovek? Why would he do that? Anyway, not important. What is important is that
Information.
now my father is dangerous. Not dangerous, is in danger, as is my little sister, and he may be trying to do something terrible. My little sister's a Sylvan. That has other things. Okay.
Then
No,
we
I
should
don't
go
know.
there as soon as we can, no?
Yes, like now. Well, we first
We
of all
need to get to your mother. Your mother has plenty of things from the Elven Kingdom. She can get us directly back to our home.
How long did his mother say they were coming here?
They've been traveling for a month.
That's a lot of time.
They won't be. They won't be. They won't be leaving for tonight. I want to talk to them tonight, like now.
Okay, well, I think
And
someone
then
should...
it will be painful, it will hurt, and they'll be shouting. But
Do you want me to go and see if I can set up a meeting?
Failing that, I can go being a non-magic user in case they're panicked about that.
no,
If they think that they've put Elsyan
no,
under something.
This has to come from me. This
I can-
has to be me. I've made this fuck up. I need to fix it.
I can at least take you there.
Where are they?
They're in a tavern nearby.
Oh,
They're in-
which tavern?
the bronze cask.
Brass cask.
Brass
Close enough.
brass cask.
Brask.
Yeah.
Yep, brass
That one.
cask.
Okay. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. Fine. Good.
You feel almost a tug on your elbow, Malcolm, as clarity is still there. What's going on exactly? I'm confused.
Let's see. We did something that we thought was right. We were wrong, and
I overheard all of that conversation. I mean, I'm confused now.
Can I get an understanding of what you mean?
She seems... I'll say you can all naturally understand this. She seems to be confused about what you're planning to do next.
Right.
We're going to
planning
go
to
to
go
the
talk-
Elven Kingdoms.
Talk to mother,
Right.
and then we are going to the other kingdoms to find my fucking uncle and put spikes through his brain. Preferably brain spikes.
We're not going that far into that. Come on.
Okay. Elsyan, young person. Second of all,
Right? Yes.
the main focus should be getting your father and
Young
your
person?
sister to safety. I don't know how old Charity is. I'm 50.
Clarity's got children.
Yeah.
And I'm 50. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm 175. Like, how am I supposed to gauge people's age?
Well, if you lot are gonna go off ahead,
Sorry,
to the-
150. I
If
greatly
they've
overestimated.
had a month to do stuff, you would have done it We should
Look.
go there and teleport them out.
I
Right
would
now.
like to try and scry on one of these individuals that are being named. What's your sister's name?
He doesn't
You don't know that, do you?
No,
What's
I
your-
don't.
What's your
No.
father's name?
Oh, my father's name. His name is. Oh God, that's a stupid fucking name.
You named him.
I know I did. It looks written down. It looks elven,
Emiriel.
and it looks Emiriel. Yes.
Emiriel.
I will also just put this in because it's almost as obnoxious as Karaticus. It's got double M's in there. Double M's.
Alright, I would like to attempt to scry on this
Oh my
God.
god.
Emiriel individual.
Okay.
Emiriel from
Allure.
my
Emiriel,
Emiriel.
the full name will probably help.
You otherwise concentrate. This will take 10 minutes. If the rest of you are otherwise going ahead to go and talk to Elsyan's mother, I would
Yeah.
like 2 teams here.
Okay, you go do that. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna
Small
let
group.
Bob
We don't
know
want-
what's going on,
Mm.
so he can deal with party going.
One with sending should go with Elsyan just so they can inform us.
I will say that Featherwing is already there at the tavern, so Featherwing can otherwise, once Malcom gets the information, he can pass it on to you through Featherwing.
Just double checking. Can we? Is it a thing that with all familiars you can just talk through?
No, it's just because you can give an instruction if you're within 100 feet of them. Or
Okay,
in the
cool.
case of Featherwing, Featherwing has telepathy, so Featherwing
Cool.
has a longer
Yeah,
range
okay.
than
Fair enough. No,
familiars.
that's just what I was just checking because I do have a familiar, just I don't use it.
Yeah, Featherwing is, because druids can't traditionally learn it, he had to make his own spell to...
Fair. No,
Turn
no,
a fairy dragon into
I
a-
was just checking.
Yeah.
But right, okay, I'll go. I'll talk to my mother. Oh boy. Oh
So,
boy.
we have Rook and Malcom staying behind as the scrying continues. We have... So does that mean we have Elsyan, Sasha, Queglod, and Bern going as one group?
I'm happy with that if you are.
Okay. Before
Before
you
you
head
leave,
off,
come back and get us.
making your way towards the brass cask, otherwise travelling, I'm going to say at haste. With the given,
How long of a
given
run is it
situation.
to there?
Around
Shit.
8 minutes.
Fuck! I even fucking invited him to the wedding. Like, as a snarky comment. Like, haha, I know you exist. But fuck.
As you otherwise continue, as you begin the scry, Malcolm, you otherwise focus, holding the concentration there for those 10 minutes, kind of waiting, picturing him in your head as the scry takes. You see a otherwise older elven figure, kind of same dark hair, kind of signature to Elsyan. Kind of white streaks along the edge, otherwise nicely cut. As he otherwise kind of sits back in a chair, otherwise reading a book, kind of just sat in what looks to be a relatively nice armchair, the crackle of what looks to be a light fire next to him that kind of gives off this lightish green hue, as he otherwise sits there, kind of just waiting. And you watch as he otherwise reaches over, grabs a cup of tea, sips it, places it back down, turns the page. He is alive and well.
Okay.
The scry ends. Nothing eventful happens.
Okay. Well,
For
I will.
the players, this is my new version of Mama Aleuir.
Yes, please get rid of old version of Mama Allure.
It suddenly seems a lot less funny.
It does. All of this just seems like, oh no, we are just victims of some terrible fucking abuse.
But I will be passing that information along to Featherweight
Wait,
until
so
then.
Darnell on Rook, necromancy, and Queglod's parents. I think there's a connection there.
This definitely is.
They're
Probably.
yeah.
Like I said, I will be passing that information on to Featherwing to give to them when he sees them. And I will immediately begin starting to cast Scry again on, what was it, Delman Arnuk?
Okay. Okay. You otherwise focusing on Delman Arnuk while the rest of them are otherwise arriving at the brass cask. You focus in on the image of who you don't know and it's a difficult one, where you had never seen him before, you only know him by name, and you're focusing on him based on relation. It doesn't take. The spell fizzles.
Oh well, I tried. We can't just up and leave entirely, so I'd like to know what happens there first, and I'll
Make
I
preparations.
I'll make preparations for things settle down slowly, but I also will be speaking with Gree and Abad.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was already going to do. I was going to explain the situation to them while
Heading
you were
in.
doing your stuff.
Everyone, with the exception of Ozbone, Gree, and Abod, are drunk.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They are drunk, and otherwise
Wait.
quite a few of them have fallen asleep on the various tables, with the exception of Guardian Mirdal, who otherwise is disappearing now, given the time.
Oh shit, we didn't get the chance to talk with Guardian Mirdal.
You know what?
And
Other things happened.
I'll say that
Yeah.
you got your chances, and if there's anything you want to discuss, we can do that for during as quote-unquote time skips.
Fair.
And most of Malcolm's extended family are otherwise bedding down for the night in the various rooms in the inn above. With Osric also with everybody falling asleep in the tavern, they seem to be cleaning up kind of the party mess afterwards. Your staff are otherwise also going to bed as well. As the dwarves on the outside are being shooed off at this late hour, and the others are all kind of being left alone, with keys and notes left with them telling them what room they're in.
Okay.
As Brudenkiln looks up and goes, "Ah, Malcom." I've given them all keys. They can go to their room whenever they want, and I've made sure that if they want, they can have some breakfast in the morning.
Thank you.
I'm clocking out now, if that is all right.
Of course. You have a good night.
Thank you. You too. He heads off. Gree and Abod are otherwise sat there. Ozbone's kind of sat over in one corner, just twiddling his thumbs.
I mean, Rook could be over with them, technically. I was going to talk to them while he was doing his scry.
Oh, okay. So as Malcolm
Explain the
otherwise...
situation.
Okay. As Malcolm otherwise wanders in and wanders up. Are you guys okay if we handle the talk with Elsyan's mother next week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Just given the
That
time,
makes
that
sense.
way it doesn't
Probably
need
for
to
the
be
best,
rushed.
yeah.
Mm.
Also, like the emotional trauma.
Oh yeah, let that bleed in a bit.
Fucking
So-
hate you, Chris.
Now what's worse on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay,
Hurricane
right, I want to know.
or this?
Hurricane was an explosive reaction of fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. This is.
A slow bleed.
I've been played so hard.
I swear, Chris, you've had this twice. What the hell?
In one
What are
campaign.
you doing?
We're gonna turn out my family are alive and they're working with my
No,
godparents.
it's gonna turn out Sasha's family are the dragons.
Oh,
Oh,
it all
goodness.
makes sense now.
That would be a
Now,
nice
now
twist.
excuse us
but-
while Chris is hastily rewriting parts of this campaign.
No, but
It turned out Behold is just alive and well.
that spirit's just a fake.
Oh my god.
Alright,
I like to imagine that in that
so-
like backing, like in that like what's the word I'm looking for? In that like background thing of like Desmond, he's just doing like the Mr. Burns evil fingertips the entire time, and he's just in the background creepily of everything. So it's like you look at the normal photo and it's like, oh yes, this seems normal. And then you zoom in on one bit and you just see him in the shadows.
I'm actually really glad that I didn't do what I was planning on doing.
What were you planning on doing?
I was planning on casting Feeble Mind on her.
Oh my fucking god! No, not without provocation. Like she's still a known, notable politician. Either way, in the Elven Kingdom, that could be seen as an act of war against the Barrenland, or against the Elven Kingdom by the Barrenlands.
That would have gone well. Anyway, so as you otherwise approach Gree and Abod with Rook otherwise sat there at the table, kind of they look up after having kind of a light conversation about what's going on.
Oh, there's a shit show.
Oh,
Did,
really?
did we expect
You
it to
don't
go any other
say.
way?
Honestly, I expected more booms and pals and
We all expected.
disintegrates hitting Elsyan.
Now I'm really pissed Rook's wife wasn't here, because she would have slapped the shit out of Elsyan.
Yeah,
Just
she
the
would have.
moment
Yeah.
he started, the moment he raised, like, even vaguely raised his voice towards Mela, just boom, face has gone sideways.
Ah, turns out there was a woman that was going to kill Elsyan at the party.
And she didn't come.
Rook's
look
wife! Fuck!
So,
I'm still really sad
hold
your
on.
wife didn't show
I just
up.
want to finish up with what they're
I
doing
know.
just before we stop the session. So, as you're otherwise sat there at the table, is there any conversations you wish to have?
How did your scry go?
Well, the father's still fine. I couldn't get a scry on the other individual.
Well, a Delman character.
Yeah, he's definitely either strong or lucky.
Hmm.
Or wearing
Fair.
an amulet of non-detection.
Hallan.
Well, either way, let's hope that the conversation with Elsyan's mum goes well, but I assume we're going to have to get them out of there urgently.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that's gonna need to happen.
And this isn't something we can really drag out either. With her being a political figurehead, if things start going a bit awry, then this could get quite big quite fast.
Yeah. How do you two take this?
Gree otherwise looks over. Can't say I much know about this sort of thing, but with all of this playing out as it has, with Elsyan being manipulated all this time, if this Delman character is doing this, what is he hoping to gain?
Hmm.
Don't know. From all we've ever known was that his mother wanted him to come back to her. For what reason, we had no clue.
But that does beg to differ. If that's the case and it was Delman's doing, why does Delman want Elsyan?
You watch as Abod stands up from the chair and otherwise wanders over to a particular part of... wanders over next to you, Rook.
I was about to like.
You watch as
No.
he kneels down next to you and kind of pulls Sovek's skull from your belt. And you watch as he otherwise turns upside down and looks inside it. You watch as there's a flash of light in his eyes, reminiscent of Detect Magic. Fuck.
What?
As he otherwise
he says, "Do either of you know Detect Magic?"
No, I did. Not now.
Gree? He otherwise passes the skull to Gree, who Gree kind of takes it.
Bastard.
It's faint, but it's there. They've been listening into everything you've been doing. As he otherwise kind of opens your bag of holding and puts the skull in. He knows what's coming. They might not have time for a talk.
Okay, I'm gonna make a run
Abbots-
for the inn.
You're gonna make a run for the inn? Okay.
I'm making a run for the inn, yeah.
I'm. We don't really have the time, and I'm okay doing this.
I will
I
cast
am-
Pepper Strike on myself.
I will cast. I will say.
How long did this grind take? Because I was gonna say when we reach the other inn, I'm gonna make a teleportation circuit just so we don't have to walk back.
So here's how it's currently going. 10 minutes have passed for the first scry, where it was successful. 10 minutes passed for the second scry, which was a failure. They've gone back in and they've realised this has happened. You guys took 8 minutes running there. You've got 12 minutes of which you have to convince and talk to her. at which point the conversation may have gone on longer than this, so you wouldn't have come back yet.
Well,
Given the fact that you're trying to convince someone of that actually, no, everything is okay, despite being accused by their son. Who,
No, yeah.
all this.
Yeah. Elsyan's well aware, and Sam's well aware. Elsyan ain't good at persuasion.
Don't worry, we've got a Queglod with us.
I don't know how much Queglod will be able to help.
She's a charisma
Yeah.
caster. They're good at this.
Yeah, but like I don't really have any in here.
Okay, do you want me to
Like,
do
this
it?
is a very
The
personal.
alternative
Well,
is like
Back Elsyan up,
incredibly blunt, just vaguely honest. Sasha just does
no,
the
no,
whole thing.
Elsyan's pretty much going to be like, okay, right, fucking stay here. We're going to sort this. Fucking uncle.
Okay. Well, for now,
You four, keep us safe. Fucking uncle. Or do you have something back for the home? I'm going to go solve this.
either way,
I-
we'll have the discussion next week. As for
Yeah, of
now,
course.
with the discovery of this sending-like effect, seemingly placed on the inside of Cervex's skull, potentially something that's been happening for quite some time. A plan in motion has suddenly come to light. As next week we will be exploring more of this plot as it begins to unfold. So thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoy, and we will see you next week where more of this continues. Bye-bye.
Bye.
But also,